Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Blackfoot, Idaho, when someone wanders into the police station with a tale of murder, mayhem, and dismemberment, everyone is skeptical until they find a bag of feet, which sends the whole investigation into overdrive. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. You sounded surprised that you were called upon to give your name there. You're like, I'm Jimmy Wissman. Shit, here I am. Thank you for joining us. We're very excited today, as usual, for our weekly dose of insanity and murder. And boy, do we have a wild one for you this week. We say that a lot, but this is really some interesting stuff we have for you this week. So
terrific.
Very jacked for that. Before we get into that, very, very quickly, first of all, your reviews help. Thank you. Whatever app you're listening on, give us whatever amount of stars you can. Thank you. That does help a lot. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets to live shows. Apparently, since these live shows have been rescheduled a couple of times, they're allowing people to get refunds if they can't make it. Because some people don't even live in the same place they bought the tickets for 2 years ago. So, understandable. So what ends up happening is people like to procrastinate, so they wait until 2 days before the show to return tickets. So keep checking for tickets, because it's the shows that are sold out, tickets keep popping up. There'll be like 5 tickets here and 8 tickets here will pop up. So keep checking the site, shutupandgivememurder.com for your tickets. We're in Boston this week, if you're listening when it comes out. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, we're in Brooklyn, and tickets keep popping up and then disappearing. So keep checking that, and that goes for all the dates, honestly. Keep checking in. Seattle, those dates are we still have tickets left for Thursday night, and I think there's a few left now for Friday night. Check on those in Seattle in December, and Portland sold out. But like we said, keep checking. It happens. So do that, and our whole list of shows is on there. The whole tour. Can't wait to see you. We're very excited for that. Can't wait for Boston. The Wilbur. Can't wait for Brooklyn either. This is going to be awesome. That's a different venue. The Murmur doesn't exist anymore, so this is a different venue. It's in the
Opera House.
It's still in Williamsburg. It's in the same neighborhood. It's a nice place. Going to be fine. So check it out. It's something Berry Street. I don't remember, 288 Berry or something like that. Look it up. Something. The Opera House, Brooklyn, Small Town Murder. You'll find it. Google it. Can't wait to see you there. Can't wait. Patreon this week is doing awesome. We cannot wait for you to listen to Patreon. The ones we just posted here. If you haven't joined yet, this might be the week for you. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Our episodes this week are, and you get access to everything, both shows, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murders bonuses. For Crime and Sports, we talked about sports superstitions and some really weird things that people do, peeing on themselves, and there's elephant skin involved. Really weird stuff and this has gone on for over centuries. This has happened for. It's ridiculous. And then for Small Town Murders, we did a very requested one. We talked about the Nexium cult, and it's pretty disgusting. It's where Jonestown meets LuLaRoe, where you get multi-level marketing meets a weird sex slave cult. And we really gave Keith Raniere the business in that one. So if you want to hear him, he deserves every drop of it. So check that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And you're going to get a shout out, of course, at the end of the show, because damn it, we appreciate you. Or if you just want to make a donation and get the shout out, you can do that at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That's right. That said, time for the disclaimer.
Yeah.
This is a comedy show.
It is.
It is. We're comedians. The story's completely real. They're insane stories, but we didn't make them up. We can promise you that. Not embellished for comic effect or anything like that. And you know what? The actual act of murder, nothing funny about that. That's not where the jokes are. The jokes are in an idiot murderer thinking, this will be a good idea. I can get away with this. And then, having a terrible dismount. This is about a police force that brings a murderer in 10 times and goes, I don't know, I don't think it's him. And then 5 years later, there's 8 more people that have been murdered. Things like that. That's the type of stuff we make fun of. So that sounds good to you. We're going to have a good time. What we go out of our way not to do, go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
What?
We're not scumbags. That's how that works. So it sounds good to you. I think it's time. It's time to sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this, Jimmy.
I cannot wait, James.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? Let's go. We're coming from New Jersey all the way going west now. Okay. So we went from the south. We're bouncing up here. We were in the Midwest. We're crisscrossing the country over here.
Around.
Blackfoot, Idaho.
Oh, boy.
Yes, Blackfoot, Idaho, southeastern Idaho. It is. What I like to call the second panhandle. The one on the top is pretty panhandly, but
it's pretty obvious, yeah.
Over here too, there's something to hold on to over here. Let me tell you,
this place is fascinating.
It's an interesting place. Now, the actual murder happens in Pingris or however you say it. I don't know.
It's probably Pingris. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've been to this place
Pingree. I'm sorry, Pingree.
Pingree. How do you spell it?
Pingree. Pingree.
Oh, there's okay.
It's very small, just southwest of Blackfoot, but it's counted in the Blackfoot quote metro area, which is a stretch of anything to say, but that's what they call it.
Oh, Blackfoot!
Quite the metro.
How dare you?
It's 3 hours and 40 minutes to Boise. About 2 hours and 40 minutes down to Salt Lake City. So that's
generous.
That's the closer one there. And about 30 minutes to Chubbuck, Idaho, which was our last Idaho episode way back in episode 172.
Jesus.
May 20th, 2020. Still full of hope for the tour that year.
Still crossing fingers and hopeful, yeah.
We were saying, see you in Boston at that point, so... There
what
we go.
What a time to be alive.
What a time. Bingham County, it's in. Area code 208. It's about 6 square miles.
Yeah.
Now, their town motto, I don't know if this is the town motto of every town in Idaho, but they claim that this is the, density-wise, the largest amount of potatoing coming out of one area. Just potatoes.
That's probably true. Yeah.
And so the motto is the, quote, potato capital of the world.
I believe it.
Of the world, which, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, who's disputing that? You're in Idaho. Well,
who's
sure.
arguing, you motherfuckers?
Are there other towns in Idaho that are like, hey, not so fast?
I'll bet there are.
That's what I mean. It's probably they fight over it. Or
James, the teenagers go out in the middle of the night and just go dig up a couple spuds and go make them at home.
That's what they do, literally.
I swear to God, they do.
Wow, that's a wild.
You get in trouble.
Place.
You probably get shot at.
I mean, I love potatoes. Don't get me wrong. They're wonderful.
You don't have to dig deep.
No, they're right there. You just yank them right out. So, there's an alternate one also, and this is from the mayor. He's going off the old, chicken in every pot slogan from back in the day. His is, quote, a trailer in every lot, meth in every pipe. So he really wants it to be
trailer in every lot.
Abundant is what he's looking for. Abundance. History of this town. Now, the county seat was originally set to be Eagle Rock, which was the original name for Idaho Falls, in case you didn't know that, Jimmy. But the night before the legislation was to be signed, Jesus Christ, this town's county seat shit is insane. This is the weirdest thing about small town murder. Weirder than any of the dismemberments or the crazy shit we found out that people have done for the last 5 years. This is crazier. This people care about this.
The argument over seats.
They kill each other. They burn buildings down over it. These people instead, men from Blackfoot, bribed a clerk to erase Eagle Rock from the legislation and write in Blackfoot. And then the measure went through because they all thought it was Eagle Rock. They didn't know it had been thing.
Didn't
and
notified that.
Governor signed it. I'm picturing Mel Brooks in Blazing Saddles. Signed it, walking the parapet, and he just signed it and gave it away, and that was it.
Walked away.
Yep.
And it's Idaho Falls now.
And there we go. So it turned out to be Blackfoot, the leader of the southeastern Idaho anti-Mormons, I guess, was a Yale graduate named Fred Dubois who settled there in 1880.
Still in town law commission, anti-Chinese league.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is from Tombstone.
That is amazing.
The Southeastern Idaho, a leader of the anti-Southeastern Idaho Mormon Coalition. So
that is incredible.
Yeah, the legislative maneuvering to get they called it the people in Blackfoot were very upset that they were saying they bribed the clerk to get the county seat. They said, quote, disparaging rumors, intimating some skullduggery on Blackfoot's part. Completely unfounded, totally unfounded. Okay. There was a newspaper in 1880 that started coming out. In that newspaper, the first issue kind of just described the town. They said they had 4 general merchandise stores, 1 jewelry store, a livery stable, 4 saloons, a hotel, a meat market, 2 blacksmith shops, 1 barber shop, and a lumber yard.
It's an old westy town.
Sounds like Deadwood, exactly like the description of Deadwood there. They'd left out the brothels, of course, but we can just assume that's happening in the saloons. So in 1889... the land office was established in Blackfoot, and during the first 3 months, they processed 300 homestead entries. Okay. So this was a homesteading place. The land office here had a open to settlement on May 7th, 1907. They called it the Day of the Run, where several thousand homesteaders staked their ground and hurried to Blackfoot to file a claim. How much, we've talked about this too, how much murdering and just, imagine that. No, this is mine. People beating the shit out of each other on just some desolate piece of Idaho. This is my brown dirt with dead shit growing on it. Please.
And it snows like a bastard there. It's not like, the ground's fertile, so there's that. What's that?
Yeah, there's ski areas, right?
Yeah. Well, so not particularly here. There, but up a ways, yeah.
This is not a resort.
Wyoming's right there. So
this isn't a resort.
Northern Utah. There's all kinds of shit to do. It's just not, it's not very pretty.
It's all snowy shit though too.
Yeah.
So you have to really be into that. That's the problem. Well, let's find out if people are into it with reviews. Let's see what they think of this town. Let's find out. They vary greatly, I must say. They really do.
I can't wait to hear it.
People are seeing this through two different lenses, this town completely. Here's 5 stars. Quote, I love Blackfoot and the small town atmosphere. Everybody here is so kind and loving. You immediately feel like a part of the Blackfoot family.
Oh, boy.
Right away. That's 5 stars. Here's another 5 stars. Great place to raise a family, close to mountains, skiing, fishing, camping, four-wheeling, 30 minutes to 2 larger towns for shopping, restaurants, and nightlife.
30? Oh, larger than Blackfoot. Got it. Pocatello and IF.
Go to Pocatello and go do your your nightlifing there. Here's a 2-star review. Not so thrilled with it here. Quote, it is not a neighborhood I feel comfortable living in. Neighbors are often rude and noisy into very late hours. Houses and lots are unkempt much of the time. While walking down the sidewalk, one will find trash littered frequently. Friendly and outgoing neighbors are often seen moving away, with impolite and unkind neighbors taking their place. Jesus, I don't like what's happening around.
Walk down the street and see trash, and you nod your head and say, hello, Bob.
You say, how you doing there, Bill? Nice to see you. Hey, you stay away from my goddamn kids, all right? Thank you. That's it. Sure, you can dig a potato out of my yard. I don't mind.
The Mormon culture has changed, Blackfoot, from that lawless shit to the bars only serve with wine and beer, and like a dive bar, just wine and beer, no hard alcohol at all.
That's
and then
creepy.
The strip clubs, James, are they're bikini bars.
That's not a strip club.
No,
that's not a strip club. You can
people are so repressed there. Those places are fucking packed.
Jesus Christ! You can go to a lake and see that. What the hell is? The hell you need to go? I don't understand what I'm paying for. Why are the drinks more expensive? I don't know what's happening here. Like
you can go down to the river and see the same shit,
and you can talk to the girls, and they might like you. You might find a date. Whereas these girls are that's money. It's their job. It's really the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And it's not a thong. It's a bikini bar. It's literally bikini.
It's a bloomer bar. Perfect. Let's go to your bloomer bar. Frequent your local bloomer bar, everybody.
For a good laugh. It's a good time.
Wow, that is just weird. That's just weird. It's just a strange.
It's repressed Mormon shit, I think. I don't know.
It has to be. Yeah,
it has to be, right?
Absolutely. That shit isn't happening places where that happens in places where whatever the local religion has taken over everything in terms of the political mechanisms of it, and rules are made to tell you what kind of titties you can see and how much of them.
And then you go home and soak. You don't even fuck whoever you're with. You just put it in there and leave it.
Watch TV for a while. Well,
I'll tug on this later. What a life.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Well, here's another review. This is 0 stars. They don't think it's very good at all. The title of it is, quote, if you like potatoes, ... It says something. Quote, I grew up in Blackfoot and returned after traveling the West Coast and living in San Francisco for several years. Well, it's a lot different than Blackfoot, I assume. The economy is terrible. There isn't much you can do but work in the potato factories or Walmart. The potato factories? Jeez. You see like movies about back in the day, like Midwestern factory workers and shit. You don't see a lot of potato worker factory movies.
No, you don't have to make them. You just what do they do in a factory? Like turn the machine on and go home?
Clean them, I guess.
Wash them. Spray water on them.
Yeah, knock the cord off of them, whatever the root that's attached to them.
The little roots.
Yeah, the little root thing. The pay is horrible. I was working a management level job that I normally got paid $50,000 in California, and I was getting paid $11 an hour. It was very degrading. Men can make more in labor jobs or construction, but there isn't much for female workers, and they are marginalized to the lowest paying positions in factory work, retail, or office jobs. I moved here so that my parents could be close to my son, but I need to move because I don't see any opportunities for me in the workforce, and I hate giving one penny of my hard-earned money to Walmart because there is nowhere else to shop for anything. So they don't like
San Francisco ruined that girl.
to Idaho, yeah. She's not going to want to be in Idaho anymore.
I'm not giving them a dime.
I'm not giving them a dime. Or working there either, apparently. Now, this person put it a lot more succinctly. I think it was what they were trying to say, but 1 star they gave, quote, lots of meth use, trashy people, and run-down houses. Plan to travel for basic needs. The schools are near lowest in the country as far as education opportunities, and it's overwhelmingly Mormon-influenced. No nightlife to speak of, very few restaurants. That's it.
Yes.
Succinct.
And correct.
Here's the list of the shit that's bad here. Done and done. So I like that person. Then we have the population of this town here. It's gone up some. I feel like Idaho has gotten expensive and people are moving there for some reason. So
thanks a lot, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know.
I think that's where this was filmed, too, was in this area.
Really? Well, yeah. If it's half as boring as that fucking movie, then I would really never want to go there. People in this town, 12,025. Like I said, that includes the whole metro area, quote unquote. Pingy or whatever the hell it is has about 1,200 people. So you can see these little towns kind of contribute to all that. And that's where the actual murder took place. Now, this is up 15% since 1990. So people are going there, or just more Mormons and they're having lots of kids. I'm not sure which. So the male, female, pretty much average. It's pretty almost exactly on the money. Median age, though, very, very low. It's 31.4, normally 31.8. There is a ton of kids here. Ton of kids. 0 to 9 in the age demos is like exploded.
Thank you, Mormonism.
I mean, it is big time. Yeah. They are there. Married population, about 55%, which is only a little above average, honestly. So it's when you hear the religious breakdown, you're going to go, really, that little? It's a strange thing here. We have single with no children, though, very low, 2.5%. So that is as low as it gets, pretty much. Race of this town, 76.8% white.
Oh, boy.
So pretty white. And as we know, the Mormons, they go places where they can blend into the snow. We've said many times. Yeah. 0.4% black.
Yeah.
0.4. That's not a lot of black people at all there. 2.2% Asian, 18.7% Hispanic here. 70% of the people in Blackfoot are religious. 70%.
70?
Yeah, that's pretty high. That's as high. Yeah. That's like Alabama level of participation in terms of this show.
It's a lot of tithing.
And they are almost exclusively, this place is 61% Mormon. So very Mormon. There's like a couple, 1% Methodist. It's very much like 1% of everything else. 0.0% Jewish. That's not happening at all. So it's just, it's pretty Mormon here. In the county, it's a pretty rural county here. As we've said, the last election, 21% voted Democrat, 77% Republican, 3% Independent. So it's pretty one side there. And unemployment rate here is pretty low, actually. The potato, we never stop eating potatoes.
There's a job for everybody.
That's one thing where, you can, there are the other things, industries kind of come and go. French fries keep happening. That's the thing.
That's a staple.
We're going to keep pumping out French fries. So
even if the restaurants now thriving were inundated and overwhelmed with the too many potatoes, every fucking week a new hamburger shop opens up.
Yeah, and we'd figure out things to do with the potatoes because they're wonderful. We'd go, well, we'll make the orders of fries bigger. No one will complain about that. They're French fries and potatoes. They're wonderful. So
we will smash them.
Yeah,
when smash fries, and then we will twice baked potatoes is the greatest thing on earth.
Well, think about Thanksgiving. Everyone that's listening right now ate some potato product in the last week. Everyone has. Yeah. We've all eaten the potatoes. So I mean, it's that's where this is where they're coming from. Not all of them, but a lot of potatoes are coming from here. So here, the median household income, though, a little bit low. Like they were saying, it's I don't know how well the potato factory pays. So normally it's about $57,500. Here it's $43,000 is the median household income. Cost of living, 100 being regular average. Here it's 82, so not that bad. Median home cost is about a 73 out of 100. $254,400 is the median home cost, which is lower than the $292 for the national average. So if we've convinced you, damn it, that you need to go to Blackfoot, Idaho for whatever reason, we have for you the Blackfoot, Idaho Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $700 a month. So that's cheap. That's almost cheap, like half the national average. That might be the way to go if you're going to do that. I don't know what the rental situation is like, but that's what it costs. I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,354 square foot house. So kind of a little starter family house. Nice house. Some greenery outside, which is nice. Yeah. It's got like a green bush by the house, so they're trying to break the monotony of the just brown, tan, beige, dead landscape of everything around. It's got decent hardwood floors. It's decent. Okay. A couple things could use an update here or there, but it's been kept nice and clean. $235,000 for that. That's kind of like your average there. I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,838 square foot. So big house.
That's great.
That's a big house.
3 and 3 also?
Yeah, 3 and 3. T-bowl for every B-hole. That's plenty of room. Almost 1,000 square feet per bedroom. That's pretty good. Yeah. And then this is in Pingy or Pingy or whatever it is. I don't care to. Please don't tweet me the pronunciation of it. We'll never talk about. I will never utter that town's name for the rest of my life, and I don't give a shit. So please, this house is kind of depressing. Okay. The outside of it looks depressing. Everything's dead, like the landscape around it. It just looks like, oh man, this is.
Is it just a rectangle house too? There's no
No, yeah, there's nothing fancy about it. Just a raised ranch. Kind of depressing, but clean. It's clean. Okay. Brown yard though. The yard is brown as shit, but inside kept nice and clean. $465,000 for that thing.
Oh my god.
Little bit. Then I found, let's say you are running the potato factory. You're selling all the French fries.
How much land?
I found a 6-bedroom, 4-bath. Not a land thing, but a nice house. 4,483 square foot home here. Very nice. Big white house. It looks like someone's bed and breakfast from a Hallmark movie. That's what it looks like. It's that kind of, like a picture card kind of a house.
Classic. Yeah.
Very nice. $899,000 though. So you're gonna pay. That's 4,500 square feet though. It's a goddamn big house.
Yeah, but what is that per square foot? I don't know. $17?
That's for your big Mormon family there. Yeah. That's what that is. Things to do. I found the Eastern Idaho State Fair.
Yep.
Boy. It
is horrible.
It's really weird here. I'm looking, buildings and barns open at 10 a.m., so that's good. All the barns are open. A 4-H working ranch horse show. That's free. Yeah. Sheryl Crow's going to be there somehow.
Oh, Cheryl.
I don't know what the hell she's doing there. It's 7:30 p.m. on Friday, September 3rd. She was already there, I guess. A tribute to Patsy Cline from 4 to 6 on the other stage. By Gene Cody. Mango and Dango theatrical circus performers are going to be there, which is very excellent. The incredible hypnotist Richard Barker will be there. But the next day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., starting at 10 a.m., meet the animals. Come out and meet them. Milking times are at 4, 5, and 6 p.m. So if you want to get your milk on a bit, that's what you can do there.
Are they telling you come by and see the animals while we milk them, or bring a stool and do some work for us?
I think either or. I think it's an either or. 6
Whatever
and 1.
You can muster.
Then from 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock, the Barrel O' Fun comedy show will be there.
I'm sure.
Oh boy, yikes! Then 2, 4, and 7, the Jetpack Flying Water Circus is going to be there. Jesus Christ!
Is that with like jet ski water packs, or is it like they got fucking
one of those
jets?
ones they shoot up into the air? And I've seen that before. I'm not sure. Then at 8 a.m. the next day, they have 4-H horse driving classes.
God,
so because when you drive a horse, it's different than driving, just like a regular passenger. They're a little bossier. You gotta treat them differently. It's like you get it. It's like driving a taxi. It's a different type of thing. Let's see what else. The rabbit show will be there. I don't know if they perform. If they just show you rabbits, or if they perform some sort of. It's like a flea circus. I don't know what's going on here. There's a stock dog competition.
What?
I don't know what a stock dog is. Is that a dog that keeps like herds together?
Either that or like put shit on the shelf.
I don't know. The Sugar Art Team Cake Challenge will be happening there. Miniature horse performance classes. I'm interested in watching that. That sounds hilarious.
I'm so depressed.
That sounds really funny.
I liked this town when I was there. This is not good.
This is bad stuff. So that's the Eastern Idaho. It's a lot of stuff like that. Finally, the one day I found at 8 a.m., open sheep show. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Bring your own sheep.
That's in lieu of the bikini bar. You go to the sheep show. I'm not sure what people do there. And then at 1 a.m., if you can hold your nut that long, is the Angora goat show. So oh God, these goats are fucking hot. So, that's what that is. And crime rate in this town.
Not a word about tractor pulls or any shit like that. I'm stunned.
There's all sorts of shit like that. There's
right.
days where we could talk. We should do a bonus episode on the Eastern Idaho State Fair because the whole schedule for every day is bonkers and it goes on for like 9 days. It's crazy. I would love to talk about that.
Let's take a trailer up there, James, and just travel.
No, I'm not going up there.
Day.
No, not interested.
Report back.
Idaho has zero legal weed. They're not cool about it. I'm not interested in them.
By then, it probably will be.
Nah, they're not doing it. There's all Mormons. They can fuck
You're probably
off.
right.
Yeah.
I'll bet Idaho's the last state to hold out.
They're one of the few left that doesn't even have medical. So, they can.
I'll bet they'll hold out forever.
Enjoy, assholes. Enjoy your near beer. Have fun. Not the people who live there, assholes. The people who are making these laws, assholes, by the way.
Enjoy driving to the next state to get real beer.
Yeah. Crime rate in this town, property crime, a little bit high.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I don't know if it's the circus performers that come through there, the Barrel of Fun comedy show. 15% high in that area.
Oh, my.
Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault is a bit low, actually. It's about 15% low. So, a little low.
Fairly safe.
There you go. So that said, give, little take. That said, let's talk about a murder, shall we?
All right.
Okay, let's get into this, man, because this is a weird, crazy-ass case of... You know how sometimes you have like the town weirdo or the town kind of person that nobody believes. They tell stories. It's the guy from the bar who says, he got abducted by aliens and and you'd believe him if he was a legitimate person because it's possible. But this guy, you're like, yeah, okay, dude, you just told me.
At the end of the bar.
Yeah, you just told me about some other insane shit that happened last week. And then, he's kind of
How many insane shits have happened to you, sir?
kind of known as a storyteller. And I don't know if it's true, but that's what the reputation is, at least among the police department, is that he'll report things, this one guy, and sometimes it's not exactly what happened. He's, So anything he says, they kind of take with a grain of salt, this guy.
Sure.
If the police know you and they go, that guy, when he says something, take it for a grain of salt, that's a problem.
Yeah.
The police shouldn't know you, first of all. They just shouldn't. Unless you have a town of 300 people, you shouldn't know the police.
They shouldn't base whatever you're about to tell them on the last 10 things you told them.
on past experience. Yeah, you should usually deal with the police fresh, is what we're saying. And that's
sight unseen. Say again, what's your name again, sir? That should be said a lot.
Yeah, not, how you doing, so-and-so? Yep, here he is again. Then they all give each other a look. Oh, boy.
There he is again.
Here he is again. Jesus Christ. So there's a guy that fits this description to a little bit named Guy Lopez. Yeah. So he's a guy, and his name is Guy. That's perfect. Guy Lopez now. Now, we're going to go back in time, not far at all this week. Sometimes we're going back 80s, 70s. We're going back to 2017 this week.
What?
Very, very recent.
Way fresh.
Way fresh. So, and somehow this case has not gotten a lot of attention at all.
Really?
I figured when you hear the case too, it's so crazy, and I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, this must be all over the place. And it's just not. Some local Idaho paper, the Idaho Statesman or whatever, covered it, and that's about it. I mean, no one else really gave a shit other than the court. So... Guy Lopez, February 11th, 2017, 3 days before Valentine's Day, a magical time in
it's beautiful,
the second panhandle, just in the potato capital.
It's freezing then.
Freezing, absolutely freezing. On February 11th, Guy Lopez wanders into the Bingham County Sheriff's Department office, and he's got something to report. Walks in and he's like, listen, guys. How you doing now, Bill, Frank, Bob? Yeah, how you doing, fellas? Yeah, I know I'm in here a lot. But can I use your bathroom quick? No, I know where it is. I got the keys hanging in the thing. Yeah, I got it. He's been there before, but he says, listen, I got something I got to get off my chest. Friend of mine told me they killed somebody.
Oh.
Okay. That's what it is. Now, I have this guilt. They, confessed it to me. I have a guilt weighing on me about it. So there's a dead person here. So the cops are like, really? Who's dead? Guy. I mean, literally, they're like, okay, whatever. I think they probably didn't even take out a notebook for the first 5 minutes of this. Then when you have more details, they're like, I guess we should write it down at least. You know what I mean? But okay. He said, listen, friend of mine, Melanie. You know Melanie? Melanie. Yeah. Melanie Smith, friend of mine. She said that, she's been involved in a murder. Oh. And, I know some details, At first he's just like, she told me about it. And they're like, okay, so she told you about it? Then he starts saying that it's more than just she told him about it. He knows a little bit more about it than someone who just heard about it. So now Melanie, by the way, Melonie, which is
that's very Mormon.
Haven't seen that spelling much. That's not the common spelling of Melanie, but fine. Melanie Smith here. So Smith is a Mormon name, though. Smith isn't every name, but Joseph Smith is yeah. So anyway, the guy says that, listen, I got a call from Melanie a few days ago, 2 days ago to be exact. This is a Sunday. I got a call on Friday from her. She said, I need your help, man. You gotta help me out with something. I got a major issue over here. So they said, well, how the hell, first of all, Lopez guy, how do you even know this lady? What's your relationship with her?
Tell us more, yeah.
His answer was, well, she slung a lot of meth. So, and she was my supplier. So I know her from that, obviously. She's my meth supplier. Duh. I mean, how do you know people, It's your problem. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or go grocery shopping,
yeah.
you got a car payment due, there's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
So they're like, okay, so what did your meth dealer killed somebody? What happened now? That's what I mean. This is when they're probably like, okay, meth, that's probably real. Maybe we'll take a notebook out. He says, okay, there's this guy. His name's David Davis. They're like, his name's David Davis. Your meth dealer, Melanie with an O, killed David Davis and told you about it. Sure, guy. Thanks.
If she certainly says it like that, Melanie with an O. That,
yeah. And they're like, where?
You killed, yeah.
Melanie
you
with an O.
Sideways and go, what?
Huh? Where does the O go? What are you talking about? Huh?
Say again.
So Melanie with an O, your meth supplier, who, quote, slings a lot of dope, she is killed and then asked you for help because obviously you go to one of your meth clients when you need help with something. I guess you could pay them in meth. That'd be easy. Easy, clean.
It's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, no tax, no paper trail.
You can wash that money fast.
He doesn't have to claim it on his taxes. Was paid 7 grams of meth. You can't put that on your tax. Value, blah, blah, blah. You'd have to pay on that. No, you can't do that.
Here is my $7,000 in taxes and my 1 gram of my meth tax.
I'm just giving you a cut. Never mind the value. I just figure
send that to whoever's office does that kind of thing.
My 29% tax rate or whatever. I don't know his tax bracket is. So he the day after he said this happened, on Friday. Then the next day she came over to my house after she called me, picked me up in my house after just saying I need some help with something. And I'm like, maybe I'll get free meth out of this, I'm sure. So you help if your meth dealer needs help, you help your meth dealer. I mean, let's be honest here, especially in a small town.
You're going to get a treat.
She might have the best meth going. She might be the most consistent hookup. You don't want to piss this lady off if you're into meth and this is the place where you need to get meth. So he said that she picked him up, Melanie with an O, picks Guy up at his home. And on the ride out to her house, out to Pingree, out to Pingree, no S on the end.
Right.
Out to Pingris, which I want to call it Pingris. We're calling it Pingris from now on, even though that's not the name of the town at all. It's a better name for your town. We recommend your official small town murder recommendation is that you change your name to Pingris. We know small towns. It's going to help.
Instead of Pine Gray.
Yeah, Pingris. It kind of sounds like it was maybe pine grass back in the day or something. It's got something. Could also be kind of like penis. Yeah, it's intriguing.
Throw an R on the end of that and just call it Pinger. Pinger sounds great. Pinger, Idaho.
Pingrer it would be.
Yeah, but like move the R and the E around.
Oh, just switch them? Yeah, fuck it. We're changing the name. Who cares how we do it?
Fucking Pinger.
So along the ride, Guy Lopez tells the police, he's sitting there in the sheriff's office, and says, along the ride, she confessed to him that she had killed Davis 2 days ago, and that she killed him 2 days ago, and his body was still lying in her kitchen. Oh. She just left him in the kitchen.
48 hours stepping over him to make toast.
Yeah, and also she lives with her 73-year-old mother as well. So they've just been living around the corpse of this man, and this was his story.
Like it's her laundry.
So Melanie with an O, your meth supplier, called you, just your meth guy that she sells meth to, and says, I need help because I killed David Davis, and I've just been living around his dead corpse in my kitchen for 2 days.
Can you come over? My mom just tripped on him.
I need you to help me pick her up and then also move the body because this is getting ridiculous. It smells worse than us at this point. So this sounds like a load of shit. It really does. And then they're like, okay, tell us more. Keep going. How much detail do you got here? And they really...
How much more story till you go away?
Yeah, they think he's full of shit, and they think eventually he'll crack and go, maybe I didn't see that. Or they think it's like a meth hallucination. Or honestly, who knows? He's a local fucking meth guy.
Any conclusion is logical.
Anything could be possible. He could have like some sort of weird hyperthermia meth reaction where he saw some weird shit.
Yeah.
So he says, look, I have more info. He said, Melanie explained to me that, okay, a man named Kevin Day, okay, this guy named Kevin, he shot David Davis in the legs twice outside of the trailer, okay?
Okay.
Bucked a couple shots into him, shot him in the legs twice. David Davis fell down with his legs, obviously all shot up, and then Kevin Day just got in his car and left.
Okay.
And left him in there. And that's the story she's telling him. That's a story Melanie told Guy Lopez. Look, Kevin Day came over, shot this dude in the legs twice, left him in my front yard. He drove away, Kevin Day. David Davis then crawled himself into my trailer, with his legs all fucked up there. And she said, this is what she told Guy. Guy's telling the police that Melanie told me then that, he came in the house and Melanie attempted to stop the bleeding because he's bleeding like crazy. Got shot in the legs twice. And then she couldn't stop the bleeding very well, so she just shot him in the head. Which is usually what you do when you can't stop the bleeding. You're just like, fuck it. Someone get me the rifle. Which is
She was in Nam, and she just resorted to the old shit back there.
911, not a thought.
Put a man out of misery.
911, not a consideration, or hospitals or anything like that. Hey, let's get you in the car, take you down to the, Blackfoot General or what. I don't know what the fuck the hospital is. Anything. Yeah. Nope. She's like, oh, I can't. Damn it. You got another rag? Well, sorry, Dave. We're out of kitchen towels, so gonna have to shoot you in the head. This is insanity. So apparently Guy Lopez tells the police that Melanie Smith then she told him that, she had to do it because she was, quote, so upset by his screams and the constant bleeding all over the kitchen, obviously, too. That was a lot. That this is a quote from her that he's conveying, quote, shot him in the back of the head like an animal that had been hit by a car.
Yeah.
So it was a mercy. It was a mercy killing, really.
She's had dogs that had parvo.
Yeah. She's like, well, it just won't stop throwing up. Yeah. I guess not eating. Shoot him. Well, we can just put him on medication and, try to get him better over the next week, or we could shoot him.
I got shit to do.
I mean, we could shoot him. I'm just saying it's possible. So that's her story that she gave to Guy Lopez, who he is now conveying to the police. And they're like, okay. None of this sounds logical.
No.
Meth dealer David Davis shot him in the... Who shoots someone in the legs twice and then just drives away? And then this person crawls into someone else's house and they're like, all this bleeding, I'll just shoot him in the head.
You're an Italian from New York who doesn't know who shoots people in the legs and walks away?
Well, yeah, but not in Idaho. If we were talking about, if the guy's name was David Davisiliano, I'd go, you know what? I don't know. Maybe he owed somebody or he did something.
Maybe he said some shit he didn't need to say.
Yeah, I don't think the Mormons operate like this is what I'm getting at.
Maybe this is what happens when you don't tithe.
Yeah, maybe that's it. 10%, motherfucker. Pow, pow. Just drove away. So that's his story, and he's got more. He says, so we got to her house, right? This is, me, Guy Lopez, got to Melanie with an O's house. And we get to her trailer. I apologize. And she asked me to help her move. She had two things she needed moved. First, a large couch, because, I can't just move that with my mom. So been wanting someone to help me with that. So if we could do that, and then when we're done with that, we'll get to the body as well. We got to move him also. So he said the couch had brain all over it. So that's a problem, obviously. Too much brain on the furniture. It doesn't wash out anymore. You can't just resolve that away or Febreze it.
I pictured him being shot in the kitchen, but no, he was shot on the couch.
No, he was shot in the kitchen. We'll talk about why there's brain splattered clear across to the living room couch, but There's a reason for that.
Okay.
She said, can you help me take these two items outside, the couch and the man?
Right.
Can you help me take them outside the trailer into the back where I'm going to put the body down on the ground, then put the couch over him? That way he's not just like, you can't just leave a body just in your yard. That's not going to work. Someone can see that shit as they, voila, here we go. Just reveal it. So she's like, so we got to have that there. And then at that point, once the couch is over him, I'm going to put like some gasoline on him, set him on fire, set the couch on fire, let the whole thing burn up together. And that way, hey, no David Davis, no problem. Yeah. No body, no crime, as we say.
There it is.
So, as Bob Marley once sang so passionately, no body, no crime. Bum, bum, bum. Put him under the couch, set it on fire. No body, no crime.
Such a great song.
It works for everything, any situation.
Yeah.
So, well, when they're trying to get rid of a body, and not normal situations. Not just if you're stuck in traffic, that doesn't work, but if you have a body. So,
not when you're not doing crime things.
Yeah, real bad, shitty crime things. So she's going to try to destroy the body like that. So Lopez says, she said, look, the body's in the kitchen. You want to go see it? You want to see a dead body?
Yeah.
He's in the kitchen. So Guy Lopez said to the police, look, I told Melanie, this is his quote, I said, give me a minute. And I slammed back a beer.
Uh-huh.
That's what he said. She gave him painkillers and a beer. Here you go.
It's a pretty sweet gift.
That'll calm you down. That'll get you a little calmer. That'll get you in body moving mode here. So
yeah, that's maybe that's the victory dance. Maybe we do that after.
No. We're doing it beforehand. You celebrate before you're victorious, Jimmy. That's how meth
Michael Jordan did
work.
oftentimes spray champagne on his teammates right before the game.
It's at halftime. You do it. You can do it at halftime. You go, we're almost there, guys. So, woo! Then Lopez says, quote, he, meaning Davis, was laying on plastic. She had a bad shoulder and needed help rolling him.
Okay.
So she got him on some plastic, but couldn't get him all the way rolled onto the plastic because she's got a bad shoulder. So, she's been injured. He's probably got a worse head at this point, the guy with sprayed brain matter.
It's a good tip, though. Make sure you're able-bodied if you're going to murder somebody. Don't come around with your lame hips.
With your bad shoulder.
Right.
This is why we always say you got to think about the dismount. Not that we want people to get away with murder. We're just disappointed that people have no quality control. They have no pride in their workmanship of whatever they're doing. I don't care if you're building an armoire or if you're crafting a comedy show or if you're going to murder some guy named David Davis in your goddamn house. Have a fucking plan. Have a plan. And execute it properly. Try hard.
Yeah. Do some prep, do your homework, and then suit the job to your physical talents. And lifting a body is not one when you got a bad shoulder.
Not going to work for you. So the best thing would be don't kill people, first of all.
There you go. Yeah.
But, whatever. So we'll talk about how that happened.
This nagging shoulder injury that keeps me from murdering people.
That's the problem. Think about that. Yeah. If you're like, my back is just bad, I can't be murdering people. Don't murder people. Maybe there'll be less murder if people took their own shortcomings into account, I think.
Have some self-awareness.
Yes. That's all we're asking for. Everybody, murderers, non-murderers. So he's taking a beer and some pills. And he said that he was at the house for about an hour before finally Guy told her that he sized up the situation, let the painkillers kick in. And he said, listen, you're going to need kerosene to burn that body. Okay. Like you can't just light a match on his plaid shirt and he's going to go up in flames burn with your couch. You're going to have to soak it in some propellant of some kind. He said accelerant of some kind. So he said that I can get it from a friend of mine in Blackfoot. He's got kerosene's a rare product. It's not plutonium. It's fucking kerosene. You can buy kerosene literally anywhere.
I got a friend on the black market.
What is kerosene? He sells it by the gram, so it's a little expensive, but I think you're going to like it.
It's not fucking uranium.
Yeah, no, it's not fucking wow. So Guy Lopez then tells Sergeant Mark Phillips that he just came from, this just happened like yesterday. Like, this is serious shit. Or today, I went home, I talked to my daughter. My daughter said that I should go tell you guys about it. He needed his daughter to be his moral compass.
Needed a child to show me the way.
At least he raised her better than he was raised, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is what he's doing, helping meth dealers dispose of bodies isn't really for meth, probably. So, yeah, he talks about, they said, well, what else did you see? So he's wrapped in plastic. Yeah, okay, she's got a bad shoulder. What else? He said, well, there's brain matter all over the place in the home. Okay, first of all, not only is there brain matter everywhere, there's blood and what he called, quote, human debris dripping down the wall.
Wow.
So he's making it sound like there was like a blender, you put a human being in a room with a blender blade in it, and they just were splattered everywhere. So they are
plastic piece, that rubber piece off the stopper off the garbage disposal. And just
just
plug the pipe and put the body in it.
Put them in the blender with no lid, buddy. Put it on puree. Let it go.
I didn't know I had to take the wood chipper outside. Jesus, that could have been in the manual.
I thought it was all going to be internalized and just you spit out a little cube, like a little garbage cube,
a little compact that I could just put in the garbage disposal.
So he said, okay, so you saw blood and human debris dripping down the wall. Big deal.
Yeah.
So he said, but there's more. It's not only that. There's brains. There's human debris dripping everywhere. He said, I saw part of the skull, and this is a quote from this man. Part of the skull and, quote, bones and stuff in the wood-burning stove, like in her living room.
Okay, I thought you took the whole body outside. So this man
only part of the body, not the head. He's got to that. That's, I mean, at first I walked in. He doesn't mention that. Oh, by the way, this was only, the center chunk of a center mass of a man, and
much has been taken off of him.
He's saying that, no, you don't understand. It was even worse. He's wrapped in plastic, but I saw his skull and bones and stuff in the wood burning stove, and there's brain on the walls, and there's dripping human debris dripping down the walls, and they're just
holy shit.
This either sounds like the most horrible scene ever, or you are completely on a meth trip and full of shit and out of your mind.
Are you sure it was just pain pills that you took?
Yeah, what did you take? Jesus Christ. Did you? Wow.
What a trip.
Does Jimi Hendrix sound even better right now to you? Let me ask you that question. Are you?
Have you been shopping Amazon for black lights and black light poster?
Do Pink Floyd songs make sense to you now? Is that what's happening? Tell me what's going on in your brain right now. Do you need a Led Zeppelin black light poster? Tell me.
Are your favorite things rainbow colored Beanie Baby Bears? Is that your thing?
Yes. Do you just want?
You fucking weirdo.
Oh, so that's what he says. So he says that. At that point, Melanie pointed out tissue and bone matter that she attempted to burn in her wood stove. After he said, I looked in there, saw bones and stuff. I guess the end stuff is flesh as well as bone and a skull. And he said, look, I tried to burn the shit in the wood stove, but that doesn't work. For some reason, it's not made for that. I got a shit model. He says, at that point, they said, well, what were you thinking at this point? You're just standing there looking at skulls and...
Right.
You're in the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life. And he says, quote, I guess I was in shock, and the smell of blood and brain matter, the place just reeked of it.
Good Lord.
Oh, God. So he said that they went to Blackfoot then. They went out, got in the car to go get the kerosene from the kerosene man.
Yeah, from the kerosene dealer.
Yeah, kerosene dealer had to call and be like, bro, you holding? It's like, I got about 5 gallons right now. What do you need? So at that point, he said, listen, I'd had to tell her that I can't help you. I can't help you do this. This is too much for me. There's brain everywhere and pieces of people. I can't deal with it. It's too much for me.
Insult my daughter.
I'm not that kind of guy. He said that he did. He went home and told his daughter about it. He said, because he was freaked out. She said, Dad, what's wrong? And he said, I just saw some crazy shit. My meth dealer. Jesus.
I just took my meth dealer to my kerosene dealer, and boy, let me tell you.
Just had to take my meth dealer to the kerosene guy because, wow, she's got some stuff going on. Let me tell you about brain matter. So, yeah, that's what happened. So he said he drove to the sheriff's department and told him what happened. That's now I'm here. That's the whole story. Went there, he drove me here, went back to there, now I'm here. That's it. So He also said that I guess she had told him, they said, well, what was the reason for this? Why did she have this done? Why did she do this to him? Why was this done to him? And I guess her reason was that David Davis had stolen jewelry, cash, and drugs from her, and then went back on a deal to buy a Jeep she owned. Crawfished.
Don't you crawfish.
Don't you crawfish.
Don't you crawfish on me, boy.
Sorry, that's all it is, man.
That's what it is.
Crawfish on me.
He called me a liar.
Crawfished on a Jeep deal on me. I don't take that shit. You say you're going to buy my 86 Jeep Grand Cherokee for $1,400. You better show up at my goddamn house. $1,400 in your fucking hand. I polished them wheels up for you, boy. You don't understand that? I got that wood paneling looking good.
I wish he said he crawfished on a deal.
she said he crawfished her. So they said, well, then what? Okay, so this is your meth dealer. She obviously doesn't think that you're that high of moral standing if she went to you for help to dispose of this person.
Excellent
she thought
point.
that you were a guy that would do that. Why would you come to us now? Why are you such a hero? They don't believe him at all. And he says, quote, I guess I just have different morals than her. No matter what Davis did, she didn't have the right to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Wow.
So that's what he said. He's just got a moral thing here.
That was the reason of the church, goddammit.
Yeah. There's another guy who comes forward as well here and says, yeah, she asked me to help her get rid of a body too. Same thing. Same happen. Well, we don't know. I mean, but she's, Melanie Smith, the meth lady in the trailer
Melanie
out there.
with an O?
Yeah, with an O. Yeah. That's the one. She asked me to get rid of a body. How crazy is that? And then they're like, for real? Like today? And he's like, yeah. And then they're like, oh shit, guy might be telling the truth. Might be telling the truth here, or at least part of it might be telling the truth. Guy said that, she told him, quote, I blew his fucking head off. And then Guy said that she was nonchalant, like she didn't give a fuck, quote unquote. Wow. So they go back to Guy and they're like, can you describe this home for us again now? Because we got another fella out here. Yeah. And he describes her home, double wide trailer. They find the home on Google Maps. They look for it because he tells them it's off this road over here, and find the property on Google Maps and get the address from there. Guy then also says, by the way, you might want to be careful. There's a bunch of guns out in that home too. So she's got a bunch of meth and guns. So you might want to, and a body on the premises. So she might not be that friendly when you all show up and knock on the door.
I don't think she's gonna be welcoming to the badges and shit.
Come on in now. He described one gun she kept right behind the front door. So when you sell meth, you tend to keep guns by the door.
That's the only reason to have a gun by the door is illegal shit's going on in there.
Yeah, anything you ever see the wire at the stash house there, they got a gun by the door. That's how it works. You want to protect your shit there. That's all of your inventory. So Guy also describes all the vehicles that can be found on the lot of her house. He said there's going to be 4 vehicles there. She has 4 vehicles out there, including this Jeep that got crawfished on.
Evidently, she's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, and detailed other buildings, of the outbuildings on the lot, shed and this shit over here. He then drew a diagram of the trailer and a second map with directions to the house. So they're like, all right, he's drawing a diagram of something. Maybe this is true. So there's a Sergeant Todd Howell. He said to Sergeant Phillips that a search warrant was going to be necessary here because the word of a flighty meth user is not really... No. We can't kick a door in over that, especially one that we know to be an unreliable source for shit in the past.
A methy told us about some bad shit here. This is my grandmother's house.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, everything's fine. No, we're coming in, guns blazing, out the way, door off the hinges. So he said Sergeant Phillips spoke to the other officers and related his concern that, okay, he could be full of shit, but now we got another guy saying the same type of thing. Well, we can't really wait to go out there because if this is true, she is currently in the midst of an effort of destroying all this evidence.
Right.
She's calling multiple people. Yeah. She's got going for kerosene. She's got a skull and bones and stuff, quote unquote, in the wood stove. Like, we don't get over there. There's not going to be anything when we get there, and it's going to be more difficult to figure this whole thing out. So they said, and at the end of it, by the way, at the end of the interview, they're like, well, Guy, thanks for your help. We'll go check all this out. And he goes, one more thing. One more thing y'all need to know about. She has on the outside of her house in one of the other buildings, she's got what you might want to call a methamphetamine lab all set up. So she's cooking a shitload of meth. So she's a bit touchy, as you might imagine. And you might want to be careful there because, that shit's pretty gross. So they're like,
fuck, yeah.
Fuck, okay. So they left. The cop said, well, thank you for telling us that because that's important. And he said, told the other cops are going to need a hazmat suit, a hazmat team due to the meth chemicals. And another officer cautioned him that that's when the other officer was like, dude, you're going over there with a fucking hazmat team yourself, all of this shit. How many times has Guy Lopez told us crazy shit in the past? This is what he does. He's Guy Lopez.
How much money are we about to spend on this fucking tip from Guy?
Yeah. How many pictures are going to be out there with us in hazmat suits looking like assholes because some fucking meth ass dickhead came in here off the street and said, there's brain matter and I saw bones and stuff. I mean, fucking tread lightly. He's like, maybe maybe let's not bring the whole hazmat team right away. Maybe let's go knock on the doors, take a look around, and then fucking, if we need the hazmat team, we'll bring the hazmat team. So they do. They go, okay, let's cancel the hazmat team for now. Let's just go out there and do a look around. They're 50-50 on whether they're going to find meth, a body, anything, or just some lady in her house going, I don't know what you mean. I'm watching Wheel of Fortune. Who knows? So they go to the trailer. And by the way, when they get there, there's 5 cars in the driveway now instead of 4. So they were told there's going to be 4. Now there's 5. So they're like, okay, someone else could be here now. Now we're less sure of who's inside the house.
Right.
When they get there, they watch the house for a minute until more cops show up who are going to make contact with the occupants there. So. But they had to keep an eye on it just to make sure they didn't see her like dragging a body outside, bad shoulder and all. So when they knock on the door here, Melanie Smith comes to the door. Melanie with an O. Yeah. She's 48 years old. She has had a couple of run-ins with the law in the past that I could find just, doing a really cursory background check here. I found on her, let's see, in addition to the accusations from Guy Lopez, 2002, a reckless driving in Washington State. Yeah. That happens. Mm-hmm. People get out of control. Then going back to 1992, she has just got a string of prostitution arrests through this year. Just, all over the place. What is this? July 19th, 92, September 2nd, 92, August 28th, 92. Those are like
she's in her prime. It's about
days
time
apart.
To sell it.
11/7, so November 7th, 92, August 31st, 92, February 4th, 1993, January 16th, 1993. These are all
in Washington?
No, these are in Texas, in Bexar County, Texas.
Yeah, you can't.
That's taking place. So
I want to fuck around there.
I know. So she's been around. Is when this also tracks different places she's been. She's in Washington. She's in Texas. Now she's in Idaho. She's bounced around. She's super into drugs, as we found out. And she's had quite the checkered past, obviously. So clearly there's been times in her life that things haven't been going terrific, I would say.
Yeah. There was a good stretch of her time when talking to a tax man was not fun.
No. If you get busted for prostitution 6 times in a year, that's
your career.
That's your career. And for her, it's not like... this is for drugs. I feel like that's her problem always, and
yeah, sure,
and that's always her problem. So they knocked on the door, and they announced, Bingham County Sheriff's Department, and they said it was freezing cold out. This is nighttime, by the way. This is after dark, 10:30 at night in a February Idaho
so cold
night, freezing. So they said freezing cold is how they described it. They said Melanie Smith exited the home and quickly shut the door behind her. She didn't open it. How you doing? She popped out. Hey guys, how are you? Let's talk on the front porch.
Let's talk on the patio where it's nice.
Yeah. They said she's wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and sneakers. That's what she's wearing.
Yeah.
but she wants to talk outside wearing this.
She's dressed like me.
Yeah, exactly. Sitting where it's 80 degrees and whatever. So, so he says, they said, so you're Melanie Smith? She said, yeah. They said, listen, we received a report about, quote, something going on here. Yeah. And they want to come in and see if everything's okay. Make sure everybody's good in this house. There's nobody needs medical attention. Her response was, quote, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nobody needs any medical attention. We're good. Okay. She said, my mother, who's in here, she's 73. I take care of her. She's the only other person in the house. She doesn't need medical attention. I don't need medical attention. We're all good. That's that. So they said, listen, there's a detective there. And he says, listen, Melanie, if you refuse the request to let the officers in to look for a person in need of medical attention, the scene is going to be sealed, and both you and your mother are going to have to leave the residence while we check on this. So it's been an outside report of somebody else, not either of you, somebody else that's in need of medical attention, and we have to check it. Right. That's it, and that's all. So she said, you ain't coming in my house without a warrant. That's bullshit. And she starts going, off on that. I don't want you coming in my house. Everybody's fine. Now they're having an argument on the front porch of the trailer. Okay. This is what's going on now. They're fighting. She's refusing the request. So at that point, the mother opens the door.
Oh, boy.
Here comes Betty Duke. That's her name. Yeah. Betty Duke, the mother. Okay. Old Betty Duke pops open here and opens the door only enough to stand between the door and the door frame. So just kind of, squeezes her. Yeah. And she came in there, and then Melanie turned to her mother and said, they want to come in and, quote, tear my house and my shit apart. That's what they want to do. Okay. So the officers then are talking. The mother's like the mediator now. They turn to Betty and they go, we don't want to tear anybody's shit apart. That's not our intention here. We're not doing that. Not looking to tear any shit apart of any kind. And so then Smith here, Melanie, asked her mother, because the officers are there. They're like, are you hurt? Will you tell them you're not hurt? Because we're the only ones here. That'll end it. She said, no, I'm not hurt. The mother did. So then Melanie turns to them and said, quote, you want to know what happened?
Oh, boy, I do.
And they're like, I would love to hear this. I would pay money to hear what the fuck happened at this point, because this is crazy. Please tell me. And they said, all right, quote, she said, all right, quote, somebody got hurt and they left. There you go. That's what happened.
Okay.
Bye.
That should clear things up. Done and done.
Done and done. We're the only ones here now. Ain't nobody hurt.
Okay.
The hurt person left. See y'all later. That's her.
Chase the hurt on down the road.
I don't know. They went that away.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well, let's talk about who got hurt. I mean, you can't just say somebody got hurt and they left. When did they get hurt? How badly were they hurt? What time did they leave? Did they go to the hospital? All these things. We're going to find them like in a ditch crawling on the end of the road. They leave on foot. Eventually, in conversation, she just identified the person. Oh, yeah, this person as David. Oh. So David, blah, 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 blah. So then they're like, okay, the guy that guy Lopez talked about was David Davis. So this is things are lining up. She then said that, well, yeah, you know what happens is it's crazy stuff. People come over and they do stuff. And there's a fella named Kevin Day shot David right in the leg there, right in my driveway. Yeah, just that. Just shot him up. But then Day took off, and then Kevin Day took off, and then David Davis he took off too. So he was shot in the leg. I mean, I don't know. That didn't seem right, but I didn't have anything to do with it. Just in my driveway. I mean,
okay,
it could happen in your driveway. Who knows? You don't know. Not my problem. So they both left. So the detective's like, okay, well, that story lines up a lot with what we've heard, except that you probably left a big part of it out where you, maybe murdered somebody. So they said, listen, that's all great and everything, but we have information that David Davis didn't leave, that he actually came in and he's actually still here at this very moment. So we would like to, come in and take a peek around and make sure that he's not, dead or in need of medical attention in your home. She said, he never came in this house. That's ridiculous. And you're misinformed. And they said, we need to confirm that he's not inside the home in need of medical attention. And she repeatedly denies the request to come inside again and said, you need a warrant. You need a warrant to come in my house. Like, yes, if we're looking for meth, that's true.
Yeah.
If we're looking for a person in immediate danger, then the warrant thing is also a little gray at that point. So, you need a warrant. They said, okay, at that point, they seized the home in anticipation of getting the search warrant. So that's when they lock everything down. And you can't just go, okay, you go inside, and if you can destroy all the evidence before the search warrant gets here, then you win. It's not a game. So when they do that, they take everybody
That's a
out.
sweet game show. They should do that and put that shit on TV.
Destroy that evidence. Hide that gun. Flush that Coke. There'd be all sorts of chants the audience can do. Because that's what game shows thrive on, is a chant.
Nobody, no crime.
Game shows thrive on chants of that kind. You know what I mean? That's what you need. So that's
got a studio audience chanting shit.
Yeah.
So burn that body.
Yeah. Light that corpse. Light that corpse. It's got to be chantable. That's all it is. And you got a hit right there. If they actually had that show where you have to try to like get away with crimes that you haven't actually done, obviously. These aren't real crimes, but like basically like it's all set up like a scenario where, okay, the detectives are going to be, you could have a whole false thing going on to see if people could get away with it before if they could get rid of evidence before the cops caught up with them and talk to them. That would be amazing. Can you get away with murder? That'd be a fucking amazing game show. It wouldn't be good because it'd be teaching people more about how to get away, but not like Law and Order hasn't done 7,000 episodes and there's every way to get away with murder on that and all the investigation, discovery, and all that shit. Literally, I almost got away with it. All these different shows.
Do they just have like a gelatin body that's full of blood that you got to try?
Yeah, you could just have like you can't use a real body, obviously. Right. Yeah, you could do like, whatever the guys on Mythbusters used to use and you just put a bunch of blood in it. Organs and shit. So that's a show right there. I'm sorry. Or you
just get evidently a bunch of people that owe a lot of money to creditors, and you get them to do it, and it's called Squid Game.
It's called Squid Game, yeah. Either way, if I see that popping up on Investigation Discovery, we will sue you very hard for that. That's our show.
We've just put it out there. TV.
Yeah, it should be. God damn it!
We will follow Impractical Jokers.
We are going to be. We're making a show right now. I'm doing an over-the-air copyright at this point. This is ours. If you steal it, we know when this was made. So. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sonobello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sonobello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sonobello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
They seized the home, the officers.
Yeah.
And, they're going to, in lieu of the search warrant, they're going to get a search warrant, and they say, you and your mother need to get the fuck out of the house while we're doing this, okay? She continued to argue with them that they can't seize her home, they can't enter her home without a warrant, so they went, okay, and put her in handcuffs at that point. They were like, well,
hang on to you then. Yeah.
Check out what we can do. We can handcuff you, put you over here, and then go in your fucking house, because that's the law. So,
What could I get to?
Yeah, there'd be, you need a warrant. Okay, have a seat right there. So the sergeant reminds everybody that, by the way, there's firearms in the house. We don't know if that's just her and her mom. There could be some dude hiding behind the door with a fucking machine gun right now. We have no idea. Be careful. So they remove her from the deck, and then the detective knocks on the front door again because the mother had closed the door and got inside.
Yeah.
So Betty comes back to the door. Yes?
Hello?
Still you? So they explain the whole situation with her to her also. They're like, listen, this is blah, blah, blah. So Betty says, look, no one else is home except for me and my daughter. And I'm going to go inside to get a coat if I have to be outside. Mm-hmm. So they said, okay, well, if you have to go in and get a coat, we have to go inside with you because this property's been seized and you can't be alone in there. You could be destroying evidence of some kind. So now that's their way to go inside. So she wants to get a coat. They have to go inside with her and escort her in there. So he says then that, he's going to come in, and the conversation continues, and they talk about the guns again, by the way. Watch out. People's, they even tell her there's guns in the house and we don't know who's in here, and it could be unsafe for everybody, which is obviously she knows who's in the fucking house. That's a dumb thing to say. Mm-hmm. She finally says that, look, I'm too shaky to stand here in the doorway. And they said, well, no problem. Just go inside and sit down and we'll follow you in. Yeah. Literally what they said. No problem. Go inside.
To sit on?
Yeah, go inside and sit down. We'll come on in with you. That's the rule. But if you want to sit, you're welcome. It's warmer in here. So she finally says, okay, fine. Turns away and goes in the house. They follow her in. She starts going, I didn't say you could come in. I didn't say you could come in. And they said, well, we said you have no choice, so we're in here. So at this point, they have body camera footage from Sergeant Phillips here.
Oh, it's 2017.
It's 2017. This is all.
For this.
This is, yeah. You go, oh, shit, we never get body cams. So the camera shows he and Detective Herbert, they walk, guns drawn, because they don't know who's there, guns drawn, walking around the house. One of the officers is yelling, sheriff's office, come out, sheriff's office, come out. They're clearing the house. That's all. So the video there shows debris lying throughout the scene, just as Lopez had described it. The place is a fucking mess. There are spaces large enough, anywhere that he thought was large enough to hold a body, he'd shine his flashlight in there, try to see it. The other detective, Detective Chapa, remains with the mother. They get into the laundry room. Like, you could put a body in a laundry room. And when they get into the laundry room, they discover a large black plastic bag on the floor.
Okay.
They're like, all right. They came in, and they can't open it or mess with it, but they felt the bag like they were kids trying to figure out what their Christmas present was. Yeah. They felt, what is that? This would be a terrible Christmas present. They identify what they believe to be 2 feet.
Oh, no.
Just feet. There's little toesies there. There you go. Just a couple of feet in the bag.
It's not a pair of shoes.
No, it's actual feet. They're like, oh, those are feet. That's not good. So they didn't open it or move it or do anything. They just said, oh, we'll wait for crime scene to get there. They could see the kitchen, and in the kitchen they could see what appeared to be a body, what was left of a body, wrapped in black plastic. At that point, one of the officers said, I can smell it. I can smell it. Can you smell it? He said, the other officer said that as they entered the home, Quote, as we entered the home, it smelled like something was decaying.
Boy.
And they were just looking for it. So at that point, they go get Betty and take her out of the home and, move her out. Cold or not, Grandma, you got to be outside now. There's fucking body parts in here. We found feet. You got to leave. We found appendages. You have got to go. I'm sorry.
You're missing feet? Because we found them.
Yeah, we got, nobody here missing feet. Okay, then we got to figure this out. So they seal the house up and they go to get a search warrant, obviously. 6 hours after Lopez came in at 9 p.m. The search warrant finally arrives at 3 a.m.
Oh, boy.
So they got there about 11 p.m., and now it's 3 a.m., so they sat around waiting because they had to wake a judge up. It's rural Idaho. It's a weekend, too. So it's not like it's a Monday. So, yeah, they have to wake a judge up and get him to sign a search warrant and all that shit. So inside, they find, just like the other officers, they find the feet, they find the body wrapped in plastic, they find body parts all over the place, they find bones, they find a skull, they find all sorts of crazy shit here. It's pretty wild. They end up collecting more than 150 photos of the crime scene. Blood on couch cushions, blankets, a mattress. There's blood everywhere. Debris from the wood stove in the home. All the debris in the wood stove were bone fragments.
All of it?
That's the only debris that was in there was bone fragments. That's the only thing? Yeah, everything else. The only thing that wasn't burned was bone fragments. Okay. Right. So she was like burning wood and putting bones in there and breaking them up. And so there's pieces of like burned bones, but there was no anything else. So she's burning shit up.
So it got super hot and everything that was in there that was
non-bone
organic,
burned.
Right. It just went away.
Yeah.
But bones stuck around.
Bones will stick around. Yeah, you got to get that temperature a little higher than a wood stove for that.
Really got to roast that one.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, when they cremate you, it's a little bit different. So they find out who the young man is here. He is 30-year-old David Lee Davis. So it is David Davis. He does exist. Melanie with an O, the meth dealer, did kill David Davis in his house and spray brain matter all over the place and chop his feet off, just like the guy said. Everything he said was true. It's the first time he's told the truth in his life, and everything. I don't know if that's true, but everything in his life, everything he said was fucking true.
Maybe he should consult his daughter on every story he tells from here on out.
Yeah, maybe he should stop doing meth and just hang out with his daughter. That seems like a better plan. So this would make you stop doing meth. Like, wow, these are the people I'm consorting with? I really got to stop this shit.
Boy.
Fuck, man. So David Lee Davis was 30 years old. He's the father of 2 boys and a girl, or 2 girls and a boy, I'm sorry. He's got 3 kids. He went to Meridian High School, went to Boise State.
Oh, no shit.
University, yeah. His friends said he's a skateboarder and a snowboarder and a mountain bike guy and all that kind of shit. So he likes to do all that stuff. Also, a little bit of a drug problem was the issue. That's why he's even knows who Melanie Smith is. We'll get into that. One of his friends here said he was a very loving man. He was a great dad and a great friend. He would give the shirt off his back to help anyone. So if he wasn't dead, he would have helped her move the body probably because he's a nice guy. But unfortunately, it was his body. So he sounds like a nice guy who got caught up in some drugs, and he's got a drug problem, and that's never a reason to have your feet chopped off and be killed in a double-wide trailer. You don't deserve that just because you're doing some meth. Right. Nobody does. That's crazy. It's fucking nuts.
That's just, I mean, really, any hobby you got, you don't deserve that.
No, exactly. What if you just like to fish? You gonna cut his feet off for that?
I make fishing lures. I'm a big fly fisher guy. You don't deserve feet, sir.
No. So the forensic pathologist does the autopsy here, and he was shot once in each thigh with a small caliber handgun. Okay. Is what he says, just like he was told. It's like they were told. These wounds were not fatal.
Oh.
And they also said that these wounds had been bandaged as well, among other things that they found in the wounds, and we'll talk about that. The shot that killed him came from a larger caliber weapon, most likely like some kind of hunting rifle.
Oh.
And was fired execution style into the back of his head.
My God.
So this was way different, and the way they described it, they said it destroyed his skull. They also said that toxic levels of methamphetamine and hydrocodone were present in his blood as well when he was killed, which is just kind of, that's, I think, every day, though. That's not a... Yeah. So the coroners told the court here that when he arrived at the residence in out here, the body was in the kitchen, wrapped in black plastic and bound with wire around the plastic to take it somewhere. And then they found the legs bandaged and all that. The autopsy, they had a ton of pictures too. They're going to show a jury later on. The one here, they said the damage to the legs was a .22 Ruger pistol, more than likely. The bullet came from. Mm-hmm. They said, this is the guy here, the guy doing the examination. He said, quote, "These were through and through, meaning there's an entrance wound and an exit wound. They're not fatal." So they're flesh wounds. He ended up, they didn't hit any arteries, and it's unlike what a .22 does a lot of the time. It didn't bounce around and end up in his fucking shoulder or something. So he's very lucky, actually.
It didn't hit a bone, so if it just goes to the meat and goes right the fuck through.
Through and through. So he said they weren't fatal. They also, he explains that the wounds in the lower thighs were just above the knees. Okay. They had been bandaged, but under the bandages, the wounds had been packed with tobacco.
What?
There's tobacco in the gunshot wounds, stuffed in the gun, like a bunch of tobacco.
Like chewing tobacco, or somebody broke up a Marlboro?
Either way, but it's not like a little dust. It's like
weird.
There's tobacco stuffed into the wounds and then bandaged.
Gross.
Which is like, what? Why is there
like the guy in Gladiator, like pulling the maggots out of his face and packing them in?
I don't know.
So gross.
Trying to use the guy's leg like an apple bong or what here? Well, I don't know what's going on, but it's
they gonna smoke it out of the back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is just really disturbing to hear that. They also have pictures of the head wound and the brain matter that was in the baseball cap that he was wearing. It actually came out like in his hat, sprayed everywhere. They also have a photo of Davis's face and how it's a 40-70 bullet. What's that? I don't know. You're the gun guy.
Is it? That's the size caliber.
Yeah, .40, so 40 caliber, -70 bullet.
I don't know. I guess that's a hunting rifle.
It's a high-powered rifle bullet.
There you
they
go.
said
It's a hunting rifle.
And it's also, they said this one is an armor-piercing round as well.
Oh my God!
So it's a hardcore round.
Yeah.
And cause severe distortion of the facial features as well because it mushed everything.
That'll fuck your face up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The medical examiner said, "quote This is the back of the head, which is essentially obliterated." And it was. They said he had tobacco in the wounds in the legs, wrapped in bandages. Then he was wrapped in a black plastic thing. He was wrapped in a white plastic, then a black plastic, then put wire around.
Dear
so he was like,
Lord.
he was bundled.
Yeah.
So, also they find the video they find some video here. The video surveillance technician for the Fort Hall Casino, they talk about here, and also the Chubbuck Walmart and the Blackfoot Walmart as well. They're all going to get involved here. Yeah. Video from the casino shows Melanie Smith and David Davis in the casino starting around 1 a.m. and then leaving at 5:31 a.m. On February 10th, the morning of the 10th. Right. Yeah. They said, quote, Melanie talked with Davis inside the casino on February 10th. And then also they said that Smith was seen at a self-checkout stand in the Chubbuck Walmart around 6:30 a.m. on February 10th. She was at self-checkout stand number 50. What was she buying?
50 of them?
No, that's, I guess, they might have. That might include the regular registers, too. There might be 20 registers and 30 of those and whatever.
That place is busy.
Who knows? It's probably the only place in the area to shop. It's probably one of those super crazy airplane hangar Walmarts.
It definitely is.
Yeah, one of those ridiculous ones. So what do you think she's buying at Walmart at 6:30 a.m., Jimmy?
Black plastic, twine, maybe some wire.
Well, no, this is an hour after they left the casino, so I think he's still around.
Is she buying 40 caliber bullets?
No, she's buying, quote, several cans of wasp killer that come in packs of 2.
What?
Wasp killer. Yeah, this is all going to
cooks meth.
This is all going to come together beautifully, Jimmy. So
wasps.
Yeah, they said, were there any other items? And they said they didn't have. They had copies of the receipts and all that sort of thing. So, a friend of David Davis named Marie Baker. She said she was friends with him. She met him a few weeks earlier when I guess someone had stolen some shit from her.
Okay.
She's also does some meth, so who knows who they're all hanging out with. So
yeah,
someone had stolen some shit from her, and I guess David Davis got them back for her and returned her stolen items to her.
All right.
So since then, they've been friends. I guess you're
knight in shining armor.
Yeah, you're the meth guy I can trust. I mean, that's good. She also said that they, had used meth a lot together. That was their main thing that they did when they hang out. She said, quote, "We would go to the casino and hang out with other friends. We didn't sleep much. I was using methamphetamines intravenously." Oh, boy, she's shooting meth. Shooting meth, spending the night at the casino.
Jesus.
God, fucking A. What is it with meth people in casinos? They fucking love those shitty desert casinos. I guess because they're open in the middle of the night.
I'm more hung up on how do you get to the point that you're shooting meth?
That's you're deep.
How fast do you need that shit to react?
You're fucking deep, man. But she does say that David Davis didn't shoot it. She said, quote, he smoked it. So he didn't shoot shit. She also said that she had been clean for 7 months, and that before that, and then now she had been clean for afterwards. Once they talked to her 7 months later, they said she had been clean for 7 months. This whole thing kind of freaked her out, I think, and kind of got her off it. Okay. She did say that David Davis had been, while they hung out, would try to get her to quit shooting meth. He's like, just smoke it. Right. You don't need to shoot it. Don't shoot it. Yeah. It's bad for you. So they were.
Need to see your blood while we do this.
Yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black a bit, but still.
Pot calling your teeth black.
Pot calling your toothless face toothless. So she said that they went to the casino together on the night of February 9th, and once they got there, they each went to separate machines together because that's what people do at casinos.
Yeah, she also use this one.
No, they're not going to sit next to each other. They could take all our money.
Right.
She said, quote, "David was popular. I would go to my favorite machine and he would go talk to people he knew." So he's a social guy. Everybody likes him. That's another thing. She said later that night, he asked if he could borrow her car. She has a white Pontiac Grand Prix. He asked to borrow it. And she said that she also knew Melanie Smith and all that sort of thing. She said that before that night, though, she doesn't know if he knew Melanie. That's the other thing. She's like, I don't know if they knew each other. Baker says, quote, "I don't know if he knew Melanie, but he got a call that night from a female, and her name was Melanie. She wanted him to come to her house in Pingree. He asked if I wanted to go. I didn't know where Pingree was, and I wasn't comfortable going somewhere I didn't know, so I just let David use my car."
Okay.
Yeah, you want to come out to the middle of nowhere to some lady you don't know's trailer? She's like, "No, I'm good."
I don't know if he knows her, but he did get a call from a Melanie. So
from a Melanie that night. I mean,
Melanie has his fucking phone number. They know each other.
Yeah. You want to hang out in the middle of the night? They're calling to hang out. And I guess, he was going to use that, but he was going to use the car, but then she came to the casino. She says that Davis was her best friend. They met weeks earlier, but they're best friends. Which is very fucking weird. By the way, her danger meter is very good because even though she shoots meth, she's like, that doesn't sound like a good idea. That sounds dangerous. Even shooting meth. So she's got that's why she was clean for months afterwards, because she's got somewhat of her head on her shoulders. So she said that, she said that he invited me there and he said we were going to go get high. He said, "This is my meth dealer and she wants to hang out." Told her that they would, quote, "have all the methamphetamine they wanted." It's going to be just a buffet of meth over there. You got to come. Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
I got her shit back once, so I'm her knight in aluminum foil. Come with me.
I'm your knight in aluminum foil. So she said that she got a ride home with somebody else, and that was the last time she saw him. Now, Betty Duke. They talked to Betty Duke, Melanie's mom, 73-year-old Betty Duke. She was obviously living in the trailer with her daughter at the time. She said that she was taken to the sheriff's office. Her other daughter and her grandson picked her up. That is Kelly and Jeremy Leslie. That's Melanie's sister, Kelly, and Melanie's son, Jeremy.
Okay.
So, yeah, she said they picked her up and took her to Boise after she was at the sheriff's department. She said she didn't remember talking to them about what had happened, nor did she remember telling them later on that she had that Melanie had shot David Davis. That's what she's telling the police. I didn't tell them any of that stuff. Now, if you picked your 73-year-old grandmother, mother, and then your grandson, your son's grandmother, up at the county sheriff's department because the home has been seized and raided, wouldn't you ask some follow-up questions about that?
Might be one or two.
They drove all the way to Boise, which we found out is 3 hours and 40 minutes away.
It's so far.
You're going to tell me in a 4-hour car ride? That's because the grandmother's going to have to pee a couple of times, too. So between that and a kid, there's going to be pee stops.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me that didn't bring up. So what were you doing at the county sheriff's office that I have to pick you up at? Oh, by the way, at 4 o'clock in the morning. What's up with happening? That? Jesus Christ, man. So now, on the other hand, though, Kelly says that, oh, yeah, Mom told me all sorts of shit in the car. Yeah. So she's got a different way here. What Betty does say is that she heard Kevin Day's voice when Melanie came home. And she said that she heard 2 shots in the early morning hours. And that she said she and this was while she and Melanie were sitting on her bed talking. Okay. She heard 2 shots. She said, quote, I heard pop, pop. I asked what the fuck happened. I love the great old lady. Melanie said, oh, my God, it's Kevin. And she went running out. Then I heard Kevin drive off. What the fuck happened? I love a 70-something-year-old lady who curses at 6 in the morning. That's good stuff.
Yeah. I've been watching football with an old man that is very much like you, and he swears, and it's my favorite thing in the world because he is in his 70s, and it's fucking great. Mm-hmm. It's truly, hearing that old man say fuck brightens terrific. My day.
I love that shit. Yeah, an old lady's even better, though, because that's...
Oh, God, yeah.
You just don't expect Betty Duke to be letting F-bombs fly. Something about it. So then she said that Melanie came back to her room for scissors. Hold on. I went out. Now there's some stuff going. I need scissors to cut a bandage, she told her mom. She said that she heard Kevin Day come back into the house, and then she heard a louder single gunshot. She said that she didn't see who shot David Davis, but she did say that, yes, her daughter does know how to use a gun. But she could have sworn Kevin Day came in the house and did something and nobody else. Right. Melanie's story is that Kevin Day took off after Guy Lopez's story is that Melanie told him Day shot Davis in the legs twice, drove away. Right. So Melanie's sister now, Kelly Leslie, and Melanie's nephew, Jeremy, they are obviously called upon to give some answers here. Sure. They both tell the cops that they heard Betty Duke say that Melanie shot David Davis. She said, quote, this is Leslie, quote, she said Melanie shot him in the head. She said Melanie put him out of his misery like an animal. So Kelly also says that the mom told her someone had been shot at the house and that Melanie had shot someone in the head. And then Kelly also said that Betty said that Melanie put alcohol on the wounds before she shot him in the head and then later wrapped the body in plastic. What about the tobacco?
Boy. Yeah, what about that? What about the beech nut?
Kelly also tells the police that, oh, yeah, Mom told me this. Mom said that Melanie said that David Davis was, quote, crying like a little bitch, and that Melanie said something about putting him out of his misery like an animal because he's crying. These are just really compassionate people right here.
He's been shot in the leg. He's being a bitch.
Twice. He's been shot. And fucking ridiculous. Oh, he doesn't. He wants to stop bleeding like a fucking. Come on.
What a bitch.
What a bitch. He doesn't want to bleed to death in my kitchen floor of my disgusting trailer.
What a thing to say about
wow.
Man.
These people are fucking animals, man. This is disgusting. So several more people come forward, all acquaintances of Melanie, and all saying that she bragged about shooting David Davis. She's just going around bragging. They also said that she had previously threatened to kill Davis on another occasion that they were witnessed. One of the witnesses, Michelle Bennett, she said she was at Melanie's home earlier that night, and she said that that Melanie had a rifle and said, quote, Melanie said it's locked and loaded and there's one in the chamber for Davis.
Wow.
Earlier in the night. So she's alleging premeditation to the whole thing, not even just some sort of, which it seems like a setup. You want to come to my house and smoke meth. They get to the house. Kevin Day shows up, shoots him in the legs twice, and then this all happens.
What did he do?
The accusation was he stole shit from her. And you remember that was the whole, that's what she told Guy Lopez anyway.
Right, but that's enough to fucking do this?
It's weird. I don't know if the only fucking theory I can have on this that's logical is she set him up to be shot twice and kneecap his ass, and then she was gonna just bandage him up and send him on his way, and he'd have learned a lesson. But I guess she thought once it happened, she might have went, holy shit, this is a lot deeper than that. We just shot a guy. He's bleeding out. We're gonna have to go to the hospital. They're gonna ask questions. Somehow my meth stash is getting found.
Right.
So instead of that happening, I'll just shoot this guy. It's easier to cover that up, I think is what she thought.
In the movies, when you shoot a guy in his leg, he walks it off and understands you don't fuck with those people. You know what I mean?
That's what happens. Yeah, that happened to Weebay, and he just went to the hospital, said he caught a stray, and that was that.
But this is 2 strays. That's not logical.
Yeah, and from close range isn't a stray either. He was from 3 feet away. So they find Kevin Day, the man who allegedly started the shooting fucking spree. He says to the police that Melanie called and asked him for help disposing of the body. So that was what she said. He said, she called me up, said, oh, I need to dispose of the body. And he said, he was like, body? Fuck you mean body?
Right.
I shot the dude in the leg. How the fuck is he dead? Well, that's ridiculous. So instead of helping, he called 911. He got the call from her, said, I don't know, I'll get back to you, hung up, and then 911? I got to tell you some shit here. So this is he's a hired muscle with a heart over here. What is this about? He played
that was
the tape.
The first time he shot somebody, he didn't like it.
He didn't care for it. At least he didn't care for them being dead.
Right.
So on the tape, he says there's been a murder, and then you can hear him say the name Melanie Smith on it, too, on the tape. So... now, Kevin Day, how'd he get involved? He is David Davis's old roommate.
Oh, God.
They used to be roommates, and he was hanging out at Smith's house, Melanie's house, while they were at the casino. Day says that he didn't like Davis due to their past conflicts since they've been roommates and all that shit together. He said he shot Davis twice, then he gave Melanie the pistol, and he left the scene. That's his story. He said he ended up taking off once it all came out, and so he ended up being arrested in California on an unrelated charge, and then they ended up bringing him in here for obviously shooting a man in the legs. So anyway, he says that he was a good friend of Melanie Smith's. He says that Smith came to the home of Kelly Black, where he was staying at the time, and asked him for help. He said that he loaned Smith money to purchase wasp repellent to make fake methamphetamine to sell to people.
What?
She's
fake
selling
meth.
people fucking fake meth that's made of wasp repellent. This is what Day says, quote, she said she could spray it on a screen between 2 car batteries and make what looked like meth.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. When asked if it worked like meth, he said, no, I have tried it and nothing happened. So he tried it. He smoked his wasp repellent and it didn't work. Wow. Yeah. So Day said after purchasing the wasp spray, that's when Melanie transferred her .22 caliber handgun from her Chevy Suburban to the Ford Escape he was driving. Went over there. That's the Walmart trip when she went to get the wasp repellent. So Kevin Day says that then they went, at that point, Smith left her Suburban in the Chubbuck Walmart parking lot and drove with Kevin Day to her home in Pingree. He said that shortly after arriving at Melanie's house, David Davis pulled in with the white Grand Prix that he borrowed. Mm-hmm. And that's when he got out. That's when Day shot him in the legs. So he says that Davis had been making threats toward him for weeks, and that's why he did it. He also says that when Davis arrived at the house, Davis exited his car, yelled Day's name, Kevin Day's name and began to approach him. That's when he said he fired 2 shots. Wow. He said he came over to start some shit. And even though we were setting him up to shoot him, he was still starting the shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. He said, quote, and this is what he'll say in court later, quote, I was protecting myself. He had been threatening me, and I knew he often carried a knife, a hatchet, or a firearm. So he said that, at that point, after the shooting, which was spontaneous, he's saying at this point, he said that that's when Melanie came out of her house and was yelling. He said he handed her the gun, got his dog, and drove away from the scene.
Okay.
He did this in front of his dog.
Unbelievable.
That poor dog had to watch all this and go, you fucking trash people. Why can't I be adopted by better people? Better people who don't smoke meth and take me on shootings. You know? You take your dog, let's take the dog to the store or that restaurant where you sit outside.
Dog.
Yeah, he's like, let's take the dog to where I'm going to shoot a guy in the legs over a meth debt. So... Jesus. Yeah, he said that he went back to the lady's house, Kelly Black, where he was staying, and or the guy, and told him what he had done. And later, the black person, she's not a black person, her name is Black. Black, these are all white, very white people, by the way. Also said that he heard Smith tell Kevin Day that she, quote, finished what he started. So she was happy to tell anybody about this.
Had to clean up after that lazy fuck.
Jesus Christ. Fuck, man. So Kevin Day was asked about his meth use with Melanie and with David Davis. Day, he said he doesn't. Oh, that's what she told him. She told him, quote, I finished what you started. He doesn't have a head anymore.
Oh, boy.
That's what she said. And then she took his feet off as well. Day also produces a note that she wrote him, that Melanie wrote Kevin Day. This is after she told him over the phone about the killing. The note said she wanted Day to come back to her and that she'd show him a piece of Davis's skull as proof she killed him.
Oh, God.
So, that's when Day and the guy he was staying with agreed to report the murder to law enforcement and call 911, and that's how that happened. Now, Guy Lopez... He said he met Melanie through a friend and had visited her mobile home in Pingree 3 times. He considered her a friend when she called him on February 10th and said that she needed help. If someone calls you and they need help disposing of a body, you better be a fucking friend. It's a very good friend. You know what I mean? That will help you with that shit. Yeah, that's a really tight person. Listen, this is what happened. Crazy shit, right?
We're friends, right?
We're buddies, right? What do you think? So, but I wouldn't turn you in for killing someone unless it was like I killed this kid and after I raped him a bunch of times, I'd be like, Jimmy, you're going to jail for that.
I hunted this person.
Yeah, that would be different. That'd be totally different. But if you were like, dude, there's this crazy thing and these meth people were coming and this happened, that happened. I had to
defend myself, man.
I'd be like, fuck, how do we get the fire that hot? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I'm Italian.
You have any of those kerosene balls?
Yeah, were those things we used in your yard? That's I'm Italian. It's in my blood. I'd have to help you. I'd have to. So anyway,
I'll throw up a lot, but I'll help.
Hold on a minute.
I assure you, I will throw up a lot.
Yeah, I'd be bad at that. I wouldn't be good at any sort of body disposal. No. I'm not into guts and gore and shit at all.
Oh my God, so many times. Yeah. You'd be like, "We get it. I've heard it. I understand. You're not comfortable with
smell.
This,
Jimmy." No, you'd be like Henry Hill in Goodfellas when he's puking, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to my mother's house after this for some sausage and peppers." What do you like, Henry? The breast or the wing? What do you want? Are you still in the old hearts and lungs? So, a leg or a wing. So he says, anyway, Lopez says he considered her a friend and that she needed help. He told her, pick me on up. I'll help you out with whatever you got going on. And she picked him up along with her 3 dogs. 3 dogs witnessed this. Good God.
Jesus. Everybody's got so many dogs.
Everybody's got dogs, 5 cars. What the hell's going on here? Picked him up in Blackfoot. He learned about the shooting as they drove to Pingree. He was distraught. She said she shot someone, blah, blah, blah. He recounted, or Melanie, this is the quote from Davis, or this is the quote from Guy Lopez that Melanie gave him about the whole thing. Quote, Melanie said he was on his knees, talking about Davis, by the couch, and he was telling her that he didn't want to die and that he wanted to see his kids again and that he needed a doctor because he'd been shot in the legs twice. Right. So Melanie said she gave him 2 hydrocodone for the pain and a glass of water. When he reached to set the water down, she shot him in the head with an armor-piercing 45-70. She said it was like putting a dog out of its misery.
45 or 40?
That's what he said. That's his quote, but the medical examiner said 40, 75. So that's his quote. That's all we know. So I don't know if he's off on the caliber or whatever the fuck it is, but either way.
Idaho hill trash. I'll bet he knows.
He probably knows better than the medical examiner, better than the scientists here. So either way, though, large hunting rifle round through the head at close range at execution style while he's putting his glass down thinking she was helping him.
Shitty.
Yeah. So, she ends up being arrested. The cops didn't give up anything to the public at this point because they didn't know who else was involved or anything else. So they weren't giving out any details. So Melanie, she explains she's got a side to this story. What's her side? Yeah. What's Melanie's possible excuse here? She said how, she met David Davis and that while she didn't consider him a friend, she said he also wasn't my enemy. Just a guy. Jesus, I hate to see if she really didn't like you. She said, I had a problem with him in the past, but it wasn't so much with him, but with his friends. And then she said that they met at Fort Hall Casino early in the morning. And when they arrived at her home, she said she went into the house to check on her mother, whom she'd been taking care of. While visiting with her mother, she heard gunshots outside. Okay. As one does at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Assume some people had an argument.
Yeah, she's like, I just wanted to make my fake wasp repellent meth, and then this is going on, screwing my whole day up. Right. Just hanging out with my mom, making wasp repellent meth. You know how it goes. Wasp repellent meth. This is new. I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, spray it on a screen between 2 interstate batteries. Like what?
Between
the fuck?
2 batteries. That's what I don't understand. Is there some sort of charge that happens?
Right.
With
Do
it
you got to put the screen on one pole and then on the other and spray it until it like boils with the?
I don't understand.
Or do you use the battery acid? What the fuck is happening?
How do these fucking meth heads figure this shit out? Is what I don't understand.
How do you do it? Who sprayed that onto a screen and was like, looks like meth?
Between 2 batteries.
Right.
That's like a real
accident.
That's a complicated formula, and someone came up with it. It's like, you got to do it, but you got to do it between 2 batteries, and they got to be half full of juice. Oh, no, it's too full. No, that one's dead. I don't understand it. So, she said, quote, I ran outside, and David was hopping from one foot to the other. Too bad they were both shot.
Yeah.
She said, I went in the house and got some crutches and helped him into the house.
Okay.
She's just got spare crutches lying around. She said, quote, and this is, again, I have to just rub my eyes, put my head down and go, what the fuck? Wasp repellent meth, and then this. Stop. You can't make meth out of things, and you can't do this. I heard tobacco would stop the bleeding, so I put it in the wounds and wrapped his legs.
Oh,
she packed tobacco in there.
Where did you hear that shit? What?
Where did you hear that? Yeah, anything absorbent stuffed into the thing with the infections.
What Civil War veteran were you hanging out with?
Yeah. What Battle of Antietam veteran told you we lost a whole battalion down there at what the fuck are you talking about?
I was running across an open field. I took a musket ball to the shoulder. I just jammed that shit full of beech nut and I was fine.
No problem. Shiloh, 1863. Like, what?
What is she doing?
My darling Linda. I was shot through the stomach with a musket ball, but luckily my fellow compatriots stuffed the wound full of their pocket tobacco until it done stopped bleeding. Now I'm on the mend and shall be home to you in a matter of 4 short days of a train ride.
Now the pain in my loins of missing you is greater than that of the musket ball still in there.
Greater than that of the musket ball. Only now I just can't stop using tobacco. I don't know why. I'm addicted. So
now I'm addicted and I shit sideways, but I still miss you more than you know.
Still, the pain of not seeing you is tenfold the pain of being shot through the stomach by the musket ball of one sworn enemy. I'm gonna put a little flour on it, Jimmy. So she also said she was going to take him to the hospital.
Yeah,
I was planning on taking him to the hospital, but he asked her to give him 5 minutes. He said, hey, give me 5 minutes.
Maybe I'll heal in 5 minutes.
That's what he said. He goes, that's her story. Her story.
Who are you,
her story.
Deadpool? What are you talking about?
Her story is that
These will close up in 5 minutes. Don't worry about me.
I said, grab my keys. They were in my hand. I said, we're going to the hospital. And he said, give me 5 minutes, see if I can kick out of this. I might be able to. I feel something just stirring about. I think the tobacco's working. It's working. I think it's, you know what? I'm getting a better. Tell you want to go outside and play horse or something, shoot around? I'm feeling good right now.
I'm part starfish. I regenerate.
Yeah, just regenerate. I'm like a fucking lizard with its tail, except it's my legs. They heal right
crazy.
up. And my legs, they don't get shot. You know how it goes.
He said, give him 5.
Give me 5. Give me 5. So she said that. This is her fucking real story. She said, cool, I'll give you 5. I'm going to lay down for a minute. I'll take like a quick 5-minute nap while you see if your legs are going to self-heal.
Right.
Going to self-heal like Terminator 2. And fucking, she said, quote, I laid my head down. How long of a nap are you going to take? He said 5. And then I heard a gunshot. And I looked up and his head bounced and his mouth dropped. Then I heard this terrible laugh. When asked, well, who shot him? Where would the laugh come from? She said, Kevin Day. Then he left. Then he left. That's it. I looked terrible laugh. I did it. Now couldn't have shot him outside when I had a gun on him and was shooting him already. Yeah, I decided...
A terrible laugh. I'm going to shoot this man twice, give you the pistol. I'm going to leave. I'm going to come back and find your rifle. Shoot him.
Laugh hysterically and then go home. So they said,
Melanie.
Yeah, they said, well, Melanie, what'd you do then? I mean, good God, she's dead in your living room. Now what? She said, quote, a bunch of dope. That's what she did. What'd you do? Quote, a bunch of dope. Quote, I grabbed a needle and shot a bunch of dope. I haven't shot up in 10 years.
Okay.
Where were the needles there for then?
Yeah. Why did you
hand them out? Well, Mom could be a diabetic. We have no idea. Ooh. So they said that after she shot up a bunch of dope, she left the body lying on half on her couch, half on her floor, and went to Blackfoot to get more wasp repellent.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. She was asked why she didn't go to the police. Why didn't you go to the police? Her answer, quote, I had 5 pounds of meth at my house. I didn't want the police to find it.
Yeah, but you just also witnessed a terrible murder.
In your house, so in your living room.
What's her plan? To go make fake meth and try to be like, it's all fake, see?
I don't know if
fake.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like stepping on it. Like this is like adding some shit to Coke, like powder Coke to make it more weight. So you have 5 pounds of meth, you mix it with 3 pounds of wasp repellent, and you got 8 pounds of meth. You know what I mean? Like, is that how it
does
works?
Nothing to you, so it's
some
safe.
of it does.
It's so
some
safe.
of the 8, it's very safe. You know what? Everyone smoke wasp repellent. So kids, smoke that wasp repellent. So while she's in jail awaiting her trial, Guy Lopez tells the court that 3 masked men broke into his residence that he was staying in Pocatello, beat him and his girlfriend Silly, and warned him not to testify against Melanie Smith.
Wow.
Which, when you have 5 pounds of meth, you can get people to do just about anything.
Yeah, you can.
You could get 20 people to go do that if you have 5 pounds of meth. That's so much meth. He didn't report the attack to police, but reported it to the court later on. Like, didn't call the cops, but then when he was brought in to be questioned and the whole thing, he was like, by the way, there's people who don't want me to testify. But they go, do we believe him or not? Right. He's like 1 for 20 in fantastical stories. So
yeah. But
is he going to tell the truth?
Fantastic too.
That's what I mean. They're like, now is he just on a truth binge from now on, or now do we go back to Guy's a liar? Like, how do we deal with Guy Lopez now? So they asked him, her attorneys at a hearing ended up asking him if he had submitted to a polygraph exam, and he stated that he had not, whether he was attacked or not. So there's a preliminary hearing, and by the way, David Davis's grandparents are there. Dave and Shirley Davis. Dave Davis and Shirley Davis are there. And They were obviously very upset. They described their grandson as an accomplished tradesman who loved his 3 children but struggled with his addiction. And his grandfather said, "It's tough to sit here and listen to all of this, but it has to be done." Yeah. Poor bastard, man. That poor bastard. So Melanie's charged with murder in the first degree and destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. She moves to suppress the evidence, saying that the search of her house was in violation of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments of the Constitution of the United States of America because the officer's entry into her house was without a warrant, without consent, and not justified by exigent circumstances. That's what her claim is. So the court ends up denying that, saying that based upon information known to the officers at the time they secured the home, an exigency existed to preserve the evidence of a serious crime. And they also said that they did say, though, that the cops shouldn't have been saying that they were there to make sure no one needed medical attention, because if they were following their story, they thought he was dead already anyway. Right. So whatever. So anyway, not only dead, had his head in a wood stove. Mm-hmm. So not like, he was shot, but he could still be breathing. His head was removed and he had no feet. So but they said that they still had a reason to believe that other persons besides Betty Duke might have been in the house and may have been armed and dangerous, right, especially because there was an extra car. And when Duke re-entered the house after it was seized, they had reason to escort her and conduct a protective sweep for their own safety. That's what the court says. If they walk into the house with her, they don't know if there's people with guns. They have to sweep the house to make sure they're not going to get ambushed, as the legal justification. So they also said that the discovery of the body in the plastic bag occurred in plain view during the protective sweeps. They weren't opening drawers or looking in the washing machine or anything. It was in a fucking plastic bag on the floor. So they said that even if the officer's warrantless entry into Smith's home had been illegal, the evidence seized pursuant to the warrant would have been inevitably discovered. So that's another law that you come up with. If let's say you do a bad search you weren't allowed to conduct. Right. Any of the evidence taken from that search, they could find 5 Girl Scouts hanging from meat hooks in your fucking living room. Yeah. If they went in there in a illegal way, that is fruit of the poisonous tree, is what they call that illegally. It's a fucking thing. So they're saying this is inevitable discovery. This isn't an accident. There was a warrant on the way. That house was going to be searched, every inch of it, within the next couple hours anyway. Mm-hmm. And with the people out of the house, that would have been discovered. End of story. So it's just inevitable. That's how they do it. So Melanie goes to trial. She goes to trial. Kevin Day testifies against her, obviously. Now, on cross-exam, Kevin Day is questioned by Melanie Smith's attorney, and he asked Day if Day was glad that Davis was dead. So Day answered, quote, "I'm sorry the man lost his life. I didn't want to see anyone die." They were like, weren't you thrilled? Guy Lopez also testified that she was a meth dealer. She supplied him, because they had to set up the whole thing of what this relationship tree is, basically, because you have to set it up for court. Otherwise, this is very confusing.
It's a big tree, too.
It's a big tree.
Ugly. Yeah.
There's meth rotting the branches and the roots, so there's some that are half broken off.
It's got a wasp nest.
Wasp nest. Luckily, plenty of repellent for that, though. It's got like half the leaves it should have, even in the middle of the summer. It's just dirty. So Betty Duke also testifies at trial, and Duke testifies that she said that she was picked up by her grandson and her daughter, and she said, "I didn't talk to them about shit. I don't know what you're talking about." But then they say, "Well, that's funny. Your daughter says that you made several statements about what happened and everything like that." And Melanie's lawyer was objecting, saying it was hearsay. Okay. And they said, "No, it's not. Overruled. Eat shit." So then they allow the sister Kelly to testify, and Kelly's heard all the details from everybody. Right. So she's got a lot here. She said that mother told her someone had been shot at the house, specifically that Melanie had shot someone in the head, and also told about the alcohol and the crying like a little bitch and all that. Here's the Q&A with her. Question, and during your trip, did your mother make any statements to you about anything that occurred? Answer, she did. Question, what was it? What was she was talking to you about? And they object, overruled. And so Kelly says she was talking about what happened at Melanie's house, that someone had been shot. What else did she tell you? She said about wrapping the body in plastic and that she asked Melanie, quote, are you going to do black plastic or the white plastic? What? They're not wrapping up fucking au gratin potatoes to send someone home with after Thanksgiving. Like, are you using tin foil or are you doing the cling wrap? What are you? What? Are you going to do the black plastic or the white? What are we doing here with this body? What the fuck, man?
Black cake, white stripes, or white cake, black stripes? What are we doing?
What do we do? I'm starting to think the mother should be in jail here.
Yeah, starting to think maybe this girl's problem stemmed from her mom.
Yeah, just because she's 73 doesn't mean she's not an accessory here.
Right.
She could have called the cop. She could have done, or whatever the fuck she could have done. You can't do this. You can't just participate and go, which plastic are we using for him? This is nuts, man.
It's like she's proud of her for her little project. Oh, that's a nice choice, honey. I would have chose the white plastic, but the black looks great.
The black, you know what? That way you can't see through to his face. It makes sense. You know, you don't want anyone stumbling over this. They said, and do you recall anything else she said? And the answer, well, she said they had put alcohol in his wounds prior to him being shot in the head. Question, and then what happened? Then what did she say happened? Answer, let me think back. Quote, and that he was crying like a little bitch. That's what my mom said. So that wasn't what Melanie said. That's what Betty's description was.
Unreal.
Betty said he was crying like a little bitch, so Melanie shot him like a dog to put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Mom is a problem. Betty Duke is an issue here. This is like,
she says, what the fuck?
I like that part, but crying like a little bitch and what plastic are we using? I don't care for that. That is not behavior. That is not small town murder approved behavior. We've said this is and this isn't. This definitely is not approved. So let me think back is another thing I love that she said. Let me think back. Oh, that's what she said. Question. And did she say something about putting that person out of their misery or anything along those lines? Answer. She said something like, like with an animal that she put him out of his misery. Wow. That is, and then they said, who did she say specifically who did that? She said Melanie had. So then Jeremy comes on. That's Kelly's daughter, Melanie's niece, Betty's grandson. Or Melanie's nephew, Betty's grandson. He comes up, question, and you picked up, did you pick your grandmother up? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. What does that mean? Did you pick your grandmother up? Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
He picks her up and walks her around.
What does that mean? You gave her a ride from the fucking police station to Boise. That's a yes or no question, not a little bit. We dropped her off halfway through. We couldn't take her anymore. Yappity, yap, yap, yap. White plastic, black plastic. This one's crying like a little bitch. There's brain everywhere. Enough already, Grandma.
You pick up your grandma sometimes.
Call an Uber, Grandma.
Also
it's
give her a
2000.
ride.
It's so weird. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And did she talk about what happened? Answer, a little bit, yeah. I think that's just what this guy says. That's just his basic deal.
That's his from, what is that kid's? Brendan. That Brendan kid said yeah all the time.
Little bit, yeah. Question, okay. And what did she indicate had occurred? They object, overruled, and they said, go ahead. And they object. The court overrules the objection, and he says, "Do I go ahead now?" Or because he doesn't know fucking court procedure, he's a kid. And they go, "Yes, now you can go ahead." So he says, "Quote, okay, she said there had been somebody had been killed, and that it had taken place at their house. That a gentleman was shot outside of the house, brought into the house, and that she didn't see anything, but she heard gunshots." So, that's how that worked. It's kind of what he said. Same shit that she had said to them earlier. Melanie's going to testify on her own behalf.
Okay.
She's got no other choice. She's got everybody out there being like, oh, yeah, she's the neighborhood meth dealer who said she was super thrilled about shooting a dude in the head. And, I mean, it's bad. It's bad for her. She needs to really explain a lot of shit. She takes a stand herself. And she is charged, obviously, with shooting him and concealing and all of that. Jesus Christ, she explained she met him and that while she didn't consider him a friend, she's not an enemy, all the shit she said earlier. She said that the day this happened, she returned to the home Day had shot him in the head. Day did everything. What a terrible laugh. All of that shit. You know what I mean? She said that at that point that she started to get scared and she didn't contact the police because she said, if I contacted the police, I was afraid that Kevin Day might have come back and shoot me to get back at me for calling the cops on him. She said she wasn't strong enough to move the body on her own, so she asked Guy Lopez for help, just like he said. She said that Lopez helped her move the body, wrap it, and clean parts of the house.
My God.
So I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
If he took himself out of it a little bit or not. Either way, he did the right thing. He got home and he went and called the cops. And he didn't participate in the killing. So for him coming forward, it's worth all the rest of it, I think, in my opinion. If I'm a prosecutor, I'm not going to put him in jail.
He didn't kill anybody. I mean, he did. So what? He wiped a countertop down.
He wiped the countertop. He helped her move. He was probably scared shitless. She gave him meth as the other thing, too. So he was probably,
you got to appease
he's
some
beholden.
People. Yeah. I mean, she's already proven she murders folks.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
If he waited 6 months to come forward, it'd be different. But he literally got home, talked to his daughter, and went right to the police station. Right. Like, he didn't even wait till the next day. It was like 9 o'clock at night when he got there. So that's, that's a lot. So the question to her, okay, we've seen a video of police showing up on your doorstep. And Melanie says yes. Question, so why not just let them in and let them in to walk around? She says, quote, because I was afraid they'd not handle the evidence correctly, stomp on everything and tear everything up. She's worried about preservation of the crime scene. That's what she's worried about.
Integrity in my case. That's what I need.
I went to Walmart not to get the wasp repellent, but to get some of that crime scene tape. I needed to keep people the fuck out of here. I was going to call in for a fingerprint guy.
Yeah.
I had a lot
of box full of booties for the fellas.
Yeah, I was going to cut swaths of my carpet out for DNA with the blood soaking. There was a lot going on here. What, are you kidding me? I was afraid they'd not handle the evidence correctly and stomp around and tear everything up.
I was afraid I'd get off. That's why.
Yeah, Jesus. I wanted to preserve.
Get away with this.
I had a real concern I might get away with this by the police destroying all the evidence of my participation of this murder and dismemberment that I fucking did. She had to cut the man up, for fuck's sake.
Crazy.
She cut his feet and his head off. And maybe his hands. I don't know what else was burning besides his head. But bones of some kind. Shins. I don't know. Stuff. Bones and stuff. Is that the name of this episode? Bones and stuff? So. I think it might be. So we've had a meth falcon. Now we have a wasp repellent falcon. It's a different thing.
It's the Idaho meth falcon.
Idaho meth falcon. It's just a can of wasp repellent. So she said that. Then she said, and then we had some concerns. I love this too. Some concerns about my mom's weed pipes and some drug paraphernalia. Oh, yeah. Not the 5 pounds of meth she had in the lab in her fucking shed. She was concerned with some paraphernalia I had lying around. You know how that goes.
You know a little bit of weed in the house in Mormon country, so you know.
Yeah. They're real sensitive about it. You know how it goes. Mom's weed pipe and all. So closing arguments come around, and they use her repeated refusals to consent to search to the house to kind of impeach her version of the events. If you're so concerned about stuff, please give me a break here. The prosecutor says, quote, he gets her good here. He says, what else has the defendant said? We talked about her 3 stories. We talked about the story that she gave law enforcement at the door. We talked about the story that she provided today. We talked about the story she provided to her friends. Quote, now, if we take the defendant's version and the defendant's version today, I don't want to tell you how to consider what she said, but I want to point out those inconsistencies that she said. When law enforcement arrived at her residence, she told them that Kevin had shot David Davis in the legs and that he had left. No one was hurt there. No body was there. Nothing happened inside the residence. They just needed to leave and go about their business. That's what she wanted them to do because she had something to hide. She preferred that's what they do because she had something to hide. She had the body of David Davis to hide. Fair enough. So, jury goes to the jury. About an hour into deliberations, they asked to review the first video of the cops clearing the house. Okay. They want to see that video again, that's usually when you're parsing charges, when you start asking for specifics of things like that. That's usually like if you're trying to compromise between somebody wants first-degree murder and somebody wants manslaughter.
Right.
This is the jurors usually when they have multiple charges to talk about, whether it's going to be a lesser, a murder, a manslaughter, a second degree, a first degree, when they have the options. They start asking for shit like this to figure out how they can like parse that in their brain.
How culpable is this person for this? Right.
Exactly. So the bailiff played it for them. And then then they talk for another 2.5 hours, and then they're adjourned for the evening. So that's 3.5 hours and watching the video. The next morning they come in and they deliberate for about an hour and a half again. And then they come out with that they do have a verdict here. They have a verdict. Verdict comes in that they find Melanie guilty of murder in the first degree and destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. She is found guilty of everything. She could get up to life. She'll be sentenced to 10 years to life in prison. So who knows what that, anywhere in there, 10 years to life she could get. So she could get 10 years. Yeah, and could possibly get an additional 5 years in prison for felony destruction, concealment, and alteration of evidence, and all that shit. So the reaction to the verdict is the family said they're very pleased. His aunt, David Davis's aunt, Kelly Mooney, said, quote, "We are ecstatic. We couldn't have asked for any better. It doesn't bring David back, but it gives a little justice, and it lets other people know that they can't get away with murder. In court, David was painted as a drug addict and a thief. He was a good boy that got caught up in a bad world he couldn't get out of, and she took away his chance to get out." Yeah, dude, he was 30. There's I know a lot of people who, when they were 30, they were complete disasters, drug addicts, alcoholics. But like to the point where their lives were a fucking mess and they were hurting other people and all that shit. And then they turned it around because the meth is the main problem here. It's normally not this person's got a terrible character and then you throw meth in. It could be good or bad character. When you throw meth in, it fucks the whole thing up.
Yeah, and also the behavior is beholden upon the ability to get meth. Like everything that they do is going to push them. It's the common goal with every action they make is to, at the end of the day, I need to get meth.
That's the thing, and you have to keep being able to get it. You have to keep getting money for it. It's a lot here.
Problem.
It's a cyclical problem, and the family, I think, said it pretty well here. Now the sentencing comes around for her anywhere from 10 years. Maybe with an extra 5 to life in prison here. Okay. And I don't think she's really been that sympathetic of a defendant here at all. I think what she did and what she's told other people was pretty cold-blooded, and it's not like she's perfect otherwise. She's a meth dealer on top of it, so I don't think that's going to help her chances with a Idaho jury is what I'm getting at here. And the judge tells her, "You, ma'am, may fuck off. Life in prison."
Oh, boy.
Gave her the whole shebang, man. Got her life. Yep. So, in for life. In jail in 2019, she is arrested for battery while in prison.
Who she beat up? Doesn't say.
I don't know. It could be. It doesn't say who. Could be an inmate. Could be a guard.
Yeah.
Some tells me if it's charged like this, it's probably a guard.
There's usually only 2 choices there of the victim.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Yeah, there's nobody else in the jail.
Yeah.
So who else is there? Yeah, good point. So on the appeal, obviously, the main point on the appeal is, should police have come into her home? That's the main thing that she's appealing here. The state cites compelling reasons. They said that it's reasonable to believe that other persons besides the mother might be in the house. 5 vehicles in the driveway. They knew that she'd contacted at least 1 and most likely 2 other people to help her destroy evidence.
Right.
You know, what the fuck here? Second, they said based on Guy Lopez's statement that Smith had placed at least part of the skull and, quote, bones and stuff in the wood burning stove. This is when he said that dumb shit, can you imagine that would be like in these decisions of appeals and like in the, that's so fun. I saw bones and stuff, man.
He had no idea how important that phrase is.
None. Not to us and to everybody. Bones and stuff. Bones and stuff. I don't know what that, I'm writing that down right now because of bones and stuff. That's definitely the name of this.
So funny.
That is wild. Evidence can continue to be destroyed. Third, Smith's home was dark and cluttered, making it difficult for the officers to see what Duke was doing if she went into the home unaccompanied. So they said for all the officers knew, when Duke turned away and re-entered the home, she could have gone to the wood-burning stove or taken some other action to destroy evidence. In support of this, the state highlights that as far as the officers knew, Duke had seen Smith commit the murder 2 days prior, made no effort to report the murder, made no mention of the murder when officers showed up on her front porch. Thus, it was reasonable for the officers to suspect that Duke was protecting her daughter and could have been willing to destroy evidence to do so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. That's called an accessory after the fact, I think, and I think that's what she's doing here. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it sounds like. I'm not a prosecutor to charge anybody with anything. I'm not saying that's what she did, but just layman's ears. Sounds like it. They said based on Guy Lopez's statements, it's reasonable for the officers to infer that Melanie could have continued to destroy evidence herself, Duke could have continued to destroy evidence, or Smith could have contacted someone else to destroy evidence after Lopez declined to help her. In addition, evidence could have been destroyed simultaneously with the officers' investigation. In particular, the fact that George Lopez observed part of the skull and, quote, bones and stuff in the wood-burning stove an hour before he went to the police station is compelling evidence that Smith's efforts to destroy evidence could have been ongoing and continuing even after she was detained. Thus, the officers had reason to be concerned that the time it would take to obtain a warrant might allow evidence of a violent crime to be destroyed. So they said, you're fucked on that one, Melanie, with an O. Then there's the sweep exception that they have here. They say that the district court considered whether the, quote, protective sweep exception to the warrant requirement applied here. That is the fact that they not only locked down the house, but that they did a sweep of the house to make sure that no one was in there. Okay. He said, this is from the court, following the in-home arrest of the suspect, the police could conduct a protective sweep of the premises provided they had a reasonable, articulable suspicion that the area to be swept could harbor an individual posing a danger to those on the arrest scene, right. Which they know there's guns, they know there's meth, they don't know how many cars, people. It's a fucking meth trailer with a driveway full of cars. Anybody could be in there. You know, and I'm not a person, obviously, as you know, that takes the police side all the time. We fucking make fun of them most of the time and all this type of shit. But on this type of thing,
when you're told there's 4, leads you to believe there might be another person.
You're going into a meth trailer with a fucking brain all over the walls. I don't give a fuck what you do. Protect yourselves because you have no idea if some crazy meth addict is going to pop out with a fucking shotgun and shoot you. Seriously, also, who knows?
The 5th car was the Grand Prix, probably, right?
I think it was the Grand Prix.
Can you imagine loaning your car to somebody to go to a little trip, and then 3 days later they're still not back?
Yeah, and then it's crime scene. Then it's part of evidence.
Fuck.
This poor girl, she doesn't have other cars.
No,
she's a fucking meth addict. She didn't have any shooting it. She had no other cars. That means she didn't have a car for months. That poor woman.
Southeastern Idaho meth head. Poor thing.
Poor fuck. She couldn't get to the casino ever.
No.
So they said they observed 5 vehicles, giving reason to believe that other persons besides them were in the house. There's dangerous drugs in the house. They've heard that it's a meth lab in there. Mm-hmm. Could be fucking anybody in there. So they said that Smith also informed the officers that also claims that Guy Lopez told the officers that multiple people were in the driveway. So she says that shouldn't have made them any suspicious. She said there's always a lot of cars in the driveway. Right. They say no, protective sweep was necessary. She argues the inevitable discovery thing. She argues that inevitable discovery doctrine does not apply to prevent the suppression of the evidence gained from the unlawful search because the search warrant was based on, in part, information obtained during that unlawful search, which is the fruit of the poisonous tree. Right. And they go, no, stupid. That's not how that works. You're not very bright, neither's your lawyer. Dismissed, fucker. Get out of here. So, also talking about the prosecutor's opening. Okay, they said that the prosecutor expressly argued to the jurors that they should draw impermissible inferences from his closing remarks by stating that Smith told the officers they just needed to leave and go about their business. That's what she wanted them to do because she had something to hide. She preferred that whole quote there. So the state concedes that a prosecutor is not allowed to comment on a defendant's exercise of a constitutional right. Therefore, if someone chooses not to testify, you can't say they didn't want to testify. What are they hiding? You're not allowed to say that. That's automatically fucking out. So they said acknowledging a prosecutor doesn't have to do that. Even so, the state contends any comments must be evaluated in light of the defense conduct and the context of the entire trial. State argues that a defendant may not use constitutional right as both a shield and a sword, saying if the defendant explains to the jury why she exercised her constitutional right, the prosecutor can respond by explaining the state's view of why they exercised that right. It's the same thing with a character. If you bring it up, now it's open. Now you brought it up, so now we can talk about it. You're essentially waiving a right at that point. So, so they tell her, get fucked, go on and get out of here, and get back to prison. That was there was a 2020 and a 2021 even earlier. Wow. Another decision. So she's been denied all appeals. And she has time to go, obviously. She's got her whole life ahead of her. She's 50 now or some shit? 50, 52, 53, who knows. So that's how that goes. I don't know. From what I found, Betty Duke isn't dead yet. So there's that. Okay. Poor David Davis. He didn't have much of a chance here. He's only 30. That's what sucks.
And a father,
A father, he's 30. Dude, he had a lot of time to fucking turn this around. And, and he had a family that liked him, and he had kids, and he had a trade also. These are all things that stilts that you would need to stand on if you were going to get clean from meth. You would need family support, something to live for, your kids, support from your family, and actually something that you could do. Right. That could be different, and make a living at. Which, if you had a trade, great. These are all. Yeah. He had all the tools to get out of it, and it's just fucking sad that the guy didn't have a chance to. From what I understand, it doesn't seem like he was in meth for that long. It doesn't seem like he wasn't a 20-year guy.
Yeah, he was only 30. I mean, he certainly had a chance.
Sounds like this happened within the last 5 years, which is just really fucking sad because this Melanie Smith lady she's been living this rugged life for years.
Oh, God, since 92 at least.
Yeah, she's getting arrested for prostitution in 92. Right. She was 24 years old at that point. So, wow, that's a lot. It's just a lot. So she's still in jail. From what I understand, Kevin Day was arrested, and he was put in for something else, but I can't find what the fuck his resolution was. Mm-hmm. He had to have gone to jail for this. I know he testified against her, but they had to have given him something.
Right? No immunity.
Bucking a guy. The only way that I could think is maybe they gave him immunity and told him to really lean on the self-defense thing and just say that we gave him immunity because there was a touchy meth situation. But if you're putting yourself in touchy meth situations, I feel like that's on you at that point.
Generally, if you're defending yourself and fearful of your life, kneecapping somebody isn't your first option.
Yeah, usually not. I mean, it's honestly, you hear people say that all the time, though. Yeah. When cops kill people, they'll say, why didn't he just shoot him in the leg? And this guy shot him in the leg. Well, but he shot him in the leg twice, which is you owe the mafia money style. That's not, I'm scared, so I shot somebody.
I need this man alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's pow, pow.
Yeah.
Now get me my money, motherfucker. Right. That's what that is. You owe too much for me to kill.
Rectify your leg situation, then rectify this situation.
Yes. Shot in the legs means you owe too much money to kill. Yeah. That's what that means.
I need you alive to get my money back.
It's true. If you're going to owe bad people money, you have to owe them a shitload of money. If you owe them a little bit of money, you think that's okay. That's going to get you killed there because then it's just disrespectful.
You're useless, right?
It needs to be an amount of money where they're like, we need to get that money back. We'll help this guy start a business. Do you know how to file the paperwork? We'll do what we need to do. This guy's got to pay his money back.
Get you an LLC if you can get us some money.
We'll do it. I mean, I swear I'll help you open the bank account. I'll take you down to Wells Fargo tomorrow. We'll get this done. So, there you go. Melanie's in jail, and she's going to remain there for a while. She's going to have a tough time come parole time, too, because she's not real sympathetic.
No.
A meth dealer who murdered a guy because he was crying like a bitch in her house and shot him like an animal and then cut his head off and tried to burn him in a wood stove and put his feet in a bag and wrapped him in fucking 2 different kinds of plastic in front of her mom. This is all really disgusting and not going to work out well for anybody. So anyway, that is Blackfoot, Idaho.
Ooh, boy.
Idaho never disappoints either.
No,
it
doesn't. It's
really the West Virginia of the West.
It's full of some very strange behavior. It's a really weird place.
It is. Well, because it's a mix-up of people, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Mormons there. Then you got like that individualist, like militia type.
Yeah, survivalist.
Survivalist type. Then you got people who are like, the skiing is fantastic here, and the views of the mountains are beautiful, and I need to be here. Like, it's a very strange mix of fucking people.
Hippies like Jake Plummer there. It's very strange.
Hippies, you got people who are literally just all about potatoes. Like, there's it's a weird fucking place.
That's why they don't have Idaho Man. There's no Idaho Man because they're everybody.
They're everybody, and the bad ones have all relocated to Florida. So
or jail,
or Melanie Smith's burn pit. One of the three.
Terrible, man.
Terrible shit.
Oh, boy.
That is the show. Hope you enjoyed it there. If so, you can tell the world about it by getting on whatever platform you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, I think Spotify, you can do it now. Yeah. All of them have some way to rate something. So give us the maximum amount of stars possible would be terrific. It helps drive us up the charts. We don't know why. We've been saying it for years. Yeah. We have no idea how this algorithm works, but we hear that reviews where people say some shit helps you. So help us out. Help drive us up the charts against all of these goddamn movie stars and TV stars that come out with fucking podcasts every other goddamn week. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Terrific. Yeah. It sounds good, but now we have to compete with them to be in the top 20 in comedy now. I have to compete with fucking famous people with television shows that have been on for 15 fucking years.
And then Jason Bateman, you don't have enough money from fucking Arrested Development didn't pay you well? What the fuck?
Yeah, no shit. Oh, what? Always Sunny hasn't been on for fucking 17 seasons? You need to... Really? Really? I love your show. Of course I do. God damn it. Fuck. You're going to do this to me?
You don't need money. Stop it.
No. Not ours.
No.
I've said it forever. I understand that they do it. Their agents come to them and tell them to do it. Then they just go into a room and fuck around for an hour a week, and it's just on a lark, and they don't like do research or anything like that.
No.
And then they make tons of money, and it's crazy. And then we're sitting here going, but we're doing this forever. Help us. I said it forever. This would be like Gordon Ramsay going into an Applebee's and just going, I'm going to be sous chef tonight. No, you're fired, mate. No, you can go home now. And he's like, but I need to make
Terry.
This. Yeah, I need this $14 an hour bad. Like, I have a kid and this is important.
Great
at
blazing wings, but guess what?
I don't know. I feel like making riblets tonight. I don't know what it is. Riblets sounds just fun to make. I
want to make a plate
sauce
with riblets and egg rolls.
Oh, with riblets, egg rolls, and potato skins. I'm interested in potato skins right now. Sorry, you can go home now. That's what that feels like. It's dirty. You should feel dirty, you movie star fucks. Anyway, so give us a review. On top of that, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now where you can get tickets to the live shows.
That's the place.
We are in Boston. If you're listening the day this comes out, we're in Boston tomorrow night at the Wilbur. Check for tickets. I know it's been sold out for 2 goddamn years,
right?
But people are allowed to return tickets because they've been rescheduled a whole bunch. So tickets keep popping up here and there. 4 here. Yeah, it's like a 1,200 seat theater. So people, it's going to happen. 4 here, 6 here. Keep checking. Same thing with Brooklyn. The Brooklyn venue. The Murmur, we understand. It says the Murmur on the stuff. The Murmur closed down. They are no longer a venue. We literally cannot go there and put a show on for you. We'd love to. So
what we against code.
They won't like it because we don't. Who knows who even owns the building? Like I said on Crime and Sports, they could be having eyes wide shut sex parties there every fucking night. It'd be really weird if we showed up with our blood and gore and people yelling "Shut up and give me murder" by the hundreds. So
or it would fit in. Who knows?
Yeah, it would make somebody come either way. So we can't help that. So what we did is our people that do this, Joe and Joe, our awesome agents, they did their best to get it as close as possible. It's in Williamsburg. It's a similar sized venue. It's going to be just as nice. You weren't going because you love the Murmur, even though I'm sure the Murmur was great. You were going because you want to see us. So who gives a shit where it is? Be there. It's on Berry Street somewhere in Brooklyn, right in Williamsburg. Going to be fun shit. Show up, do that, check for tickets. We're excited. Definitely do that, though. Get the address. Know that it's not at the Murmur. It's at another place. We've given a million updates, but some people, you never know if you're paying attention. If you're busy with your life, who knows? So check those out. Get tickets for all your live shows. Also, those shows in Seattle in December, the 16th and 17th, there's a bunch of tickets left for Thursday night, and now a few tickets have opened up again for Friday night. So get on that right now. Sell those bad boys out and get that out of the way. And Portland as well. Check. You never know. There might be tickets popping up. The Portland people are pretty hardcore. They're always awesome. They always sell out fast. And
very cool people.
Every single fucking person shows up. Like there's no empty seats there. So, but keep checking. You never know. Shutupandgivememurder.com right now for all of that. This week, also, if you want to follow us on social media, very easy to do that. At Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. That said, also Patreon. Oh my goodness.
Boy.
So good this week. And honestly, every week. I'm not going to brag, but we get so many compliments on Patreon where people are like, holy shit, your Patreon's the funniest goddamn thing recorded on audio. People say that to us like a lot. I don't know why. It's the fact that we can be loose and we're talking about whatever subject we want. So it's a lot of fun. You need to get Patreon. If you've been waiting, this is the week. Patreon.com/crime and sports. We have 2 amazing shows for you that we do. Every other week we release 2 shows, a crime and sports, a small town murder, and you get access to all of it.
Right.
Every single last minute of it.
And I think they're able to gift those now. Is that true?
You can gift Patreon subscriptions now. You can gift somebody a year Patreon
you could
subscription.
Do that for people. You know what I mean?
I wonder. There's something. This is a holiday season coming up. Right now, we're in the middle of Happy Hanukkah that people are celebrating. Yeah, your Hanukkah present. Still a couple nights left there. Rock it out. You can do that. Christmas presents coming up. Do it up, man. Yeah. Get somebody a Patreon. But like I said, this week we're going to do for crime and sports. It is on sports superstitions. Yeah. These are particular players' particular weirdnesses.
Very strange things these guys do.
So strange, whether it's what meals they're eating or what body parts they're peeing on to make stronger, or what part of an elephant they're wrapping around their wrists so they or what boot they're spitting in before they get in a ring. It's the weirdest.
Article of clothing depends on what you spit on, whether or not you're going to do well tonight.
Yeah, hay is involved. It's really weird. It's very funny shit.
On Friday night, I can't wait.
We're going to do spit right in your shit. And then for Small Town Murders bonus episode, we're doing something that we've had tons of requests for, and we've been wanting to do it forever, on the Nexium cult. And I read so many books to do one bonus episode. It's really not worth all that time, but still.
And really, we just brushed over it. It's such a riveting story.
It is. And the way we brushed over it, I think, is exactly the way you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's Jonestown meets LuLaRoe. It's multi-level marketing meets a sex slave cult doomsday mess. And we talked a lot about how Keith Raniere got started and why people were following him and the scummy bullshit things he did to convince them, and really just basically dragged Keith Raniere for over an hour. It's really, really good shit. You definitely want to hear that. And we talked about the structure and how it went and told people stories as well. Check it out. Amazing stuff. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Like we said, anybody over the $5 level gets access to everything. And they also get a shout out.
You betcha.
Because God damn it, we love you. So Jimmy will mispronounce your name to prove his love. That's how we work this here. So there's that. Also PayPal, if you just want to make a donation, get a shout out, and have great karma. You can go to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, Jimmy, please, please, please hit me with the names of people who would never stuff tobacco in my wounds in an effort to stop the bleeding. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Liz Vasquez. Thank you so much, Liz, for the entire year of.
Yes,
you're so sweet
nice to see you as well.
Thank you. Pleasure, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Mary Zakharowski, Frank the South African birdwatcher, Kylie Gallagher is a real asshole. I don't know if you know that, James, but she is.
I do now.
Jordan Bennett, Donette Perry in Texas. Thank you, Donette. I hope we get to see you soon. Oh, you know what? She's coming to OKC, and she wanted us to know that she's driving all the way from Texas because we canceled the Dallas show for
not our fault
reasons, and can't wait to see you, Donette.
Again, things like that quickly. If that got rescheduled, it didn't line up with anything else. Maybe we weren't available on a weekend. everybody on Earth was rescheduling. Sorry, continue.
Things go. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sarah George Waterfield, Marie Cephas. I think Cephas. Look, I'm not
Thank
brilliant.
you. Thank you, Cephas.
You know I'm dumb. Other producers this week also are Jeff Shrewsbury, Peyton Meadows, Corporal Carl Kirshner tried 99 bananas, James, and he says it's disgusting.
I guess so.
Like we said. Brianne Bailey put her pup Lily down. I'm very, very sorry, Brianne. Hang in there. The rest of this is happy news. James Martyr, happy hour rode through Eloy, Arizona. The poor bastard.
That's
sorry
not
about
happy.
that. Don't judge the rest of Arizona.
Just as sad.
Wouldn't you rather put your pup down happy hour?
Yeah, I think so. Than being Eloy? Yeah, I think so. Any day of the week.
That's what it should say on their welcome sign. Wouldn't you rather put your pup down?
Better than putting your pup down. Eloy.
Reagan Shalkley also. Thank you, Reagan. Good to see you again. Yeah. Jennifer Visconti screamed, "Shut up and give me murder in a hospital." That's
beautiful.
Pretty fascinating. Tara, Carl, and Elliot. Tim Gostiny. I don't know. Borat, not sure. I'm not sure what that is either. Samantha Quigley's sacrificial cup of coffee donated to us. Thank you, Samantha.
Cool. Thank
Barbara
you.
Binns is driving to OKC. That's who's driving to OKC. Not maybe Donette is too. I'm not sure. Haystack.
Sorry, we said it's either 1 cup of coffee or 4 episodes.
Right.
That's what we said. So thank you.
That.
Good choice. Good choice.
Haystacks Calhoun, James. You know who that is?
As a wrestler, yeah, absolutely.
What about the Grand Wizard of Wrestling?
Grand Wizard was a manager, absolutely. Hilarious.
Gary Friedman is certainly showing his age. Happy birthday,
these are all
Sylvia.
before my time.
Matthew Hollum is a double winner, James. Happy birthday.
I'm a double winner.
Hayden Tronis, I think. Trones. Happy birthday, buddy. Travis Tessier, happy birthday. Tessier? I'm not sure. Resin by Bree. Anthony Modica is a mailman who listens. Swamp Queen Creations on Etsy. Swamp Queen. Zachary Thibault? I don't know. Tiabu.
That's a tough one.
Christy Iani, Kit with no last name, Lee Diodorio, oh boy, Jeanette Stallcup, Elizabeth East, Alan James Corey, Ashley Fahey, Jesse Barr, Dave Staples, Maddie Ray, Cassandra Eiche, Izzy Olson, Hillary with no last name, Amanda Lynn, Kristen with no last name, Trish Hawking, Jennifer Montagna, Roxanne Tromley, what is this? No Tom is fit too. Adam McKinnon, A.K. Nobby, I think. A Nobby? I don't know. Emily Eichstead, and Mabo with no last name. Richard Dyer, Yvette Gaylor, Andrea Hinsberger, Casey Robertson, Lee Zumalin, what? Alyssa
like
Compton.
You expect to recognize it. What? I've never heard that before.
Victoria Kroll, Brandon Haynes, Paul with no last name, Nora Hubert, Rhett with no last name, Mike Stepanek, Christine Purvis, Carl with no last name, Karen Marufo, oh boy, Alex Schlosser, Rebecca Jane Tidwell, Jimmy Wisman's hair, that's where it went, Kara Teal, Samuel Milbauer, Bryce with no last name, Eric Koenig, Matt Koenig, that's Koenig, right? I don't know. Mary,
what do we know?
Mary Fabietti.
Hey,
Nicole Gattoni, Bobby Dunn, Alicia Johnson, Too Fidgety, Chase Johnson, Chris Tim, Danielle Dahlberg, that's Kurt Stern, Zach Poindexter, Dan Leary, Jerica Carpenter, Nygard. Look, man.
You said it every way. You said every way you could say it, Jimmy. We'll put it that way.
And it's certainly not good.
You want any other pronunciations, use them yourself. I don't know what to tell you because we ain't saying it.
2 o'clock high, Sophie Mitchell, Xavier Hill Roy, Maureen Smith, Texas Yankee 33. That's fascinating. Christopher Spur, Kaylee Tully, Mercedes Winsheimer, Sarah Walker, Annie Olson, Skylar Rome, Collier, Vassallo. That's wrong. Alana DeRocker, Ben Kusulski.
Yeah.
Castle. Nope, that's just S. LaRue Williams. Alejandro Alvarez, Ryan Beatty, Joseph Singer, Alexis Pedregon, because I know who Cruz Pedregon is, Lance Kalinin. Julia Clarkson, Sarah with no last name, Kelly A.L., Vicky Teachy Thomas, Andrew Barrows, Matt Kemp, Brenda Moransky, Jenna D. Valentine, Jeff Johnson, Jimbo Green. That sounds like I'm doing like you're mashing my words from an audiobook. Jimbo Green.
Jimbo Green. Separate ones. We just clipped them together.
Yeah. Abigail Allerhead, Justin Davis, Elizabeth Berner, Sandy Dennis, The House, Natalie Eberling, Tori Bauer, Susan Austin, Clay G, Alicia Wotherspoon, Kayla Brown, Tyler Hunt, Stephanie Botkin, Nicole Pacini, almost. You were almost part of the Pacinos. Sean Turner, D, and another D. I don't know if it's Dee or if she's trying to tell me double D's, or if a dude's trying to tell me double D's.
Or maybe there's two people named D.
It's possible, too. Mackenzie Clark, Caitlin Grimm, Smurf Juice, that's gross. Ashley Catoni, Sean Christensen, Carla Purifoy, Chris Hosler, Sophia Anderson, Dustin Miller, Grace Shearburl. That's a tough one. Isaac Cummings, Trevor Robinson, Megan Yoon Canfer. What? Uncafer. I don't know. Sierra Will,
Didn't work out the way you were looking.
Giovanni Iwami, John Barnett, Losheen, Megan Jamieson, John Allen, Nicole Bulldog, Sean Edmiston, Shannon Ross, Joel Edwards, Lindsay Seelig, Big Jack McBastard, Emily L., Carrie Luchez, Abel Areola, hell yeah, Brandy Fisher, Jessica Tomaselli, Cynthia Vinton, Taylor Hughes, Kathleen Laney, Matthew Volker, John O'Brien, Ben Errett, Karen Gridley, Dana Fors, Jonathan Garcia, Molly Lenhausen, Dorothy Harkins, yeah. Okay. Mike Young, Mard at Auntie Annie. I don't know what that is.
Pretzel shop?
Auntie Anna?
I thought you meant the pretzel shop.
Maybe it is. If it is, Mard, you make delicious products. Lils with no last name. Cheryl Nelms, Becky Lear, Ryan Andrews, Donnie Van Dangle, Melanie Rintmore, Marcus Pleece, Gina Delia, Kane Schuster, and Sarah Gardner, and all of our patrons. You guys are the best people. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Thank you for all that you do. Honestly, we're just blown away by the support and that you give a shit.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Patreon and coming to these shows, it's overwhelming, and it's not overlooked. You guys are fucking amazing, and it's why we can't.
It's a lot of support, Jimmy.
Yeah, during a pandemic, to get out on the road and see you guys, it feels really good to see you. So thank you so much for all of this.
Yeah, it was hard. I know it's hard on everybody being in the house for a long time, but it was hard on, if you're a comic, you thrive on the live.
Yeah,
I mean, the podcasts are awesome and we love them, but we're used to hearing a laugh when we say something in the audience. So to not have that for a long time really sucks. And we feel it's like filling us with life to be back out there and feel people's energy. So thank you for doing that for us. And thank you for waiting for us to come back around, and thank you for still having interest in seeing us live after a year and a half of waiting and shit like that. Really, honestly, we can't.
Like a pen pal in prison, you waited for us. You're such amazing people.
You waited it for us like you were someone with 3 kids and needing to have a bad idea, so you wrote A Prisoner, and then you're on Love After Lockup.
And then
That's
you show up
for us.
at these live shows dressed like pickles. It's fantastic.
You dress like a pickle, and you're all happy to see us, and that's how it is. So that said, Jimmy, what if somebody wanted to get a hold of you and come dressed like a pickle? How do they do it?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, and send me pictures of pickles. At
there you
Sucks.
go.
Where
not your pickle, though.
No,
not your pickle. Keep your pickle in your pickle. Don't say send me pictures of pickles.
Delete everything I just said. I want no pickles.
People will absolutely take you up on that. Hey, he wants to see my dick. All right. You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you just copy and paste, or even better, just look up the show. Give you Google Small Town Murder. We're the only ones hosting the show. It's not like there's a rotating cast in here. So you'll find us. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com. Our social media links are there. Everything's there. Yeah. And you can get tickets to live shows. It's the place to be. And where we will be is not here, because it's time to go.
Yeah.
That said, until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.